A lot of deliberating and planning. Hopefully, went in over the few days. But now we get to kick our shoes off, put our toes in the lava, and really get back into this.
We've
Time to
already
roast
dealt
some
with lava.
marshmallows.
We don't need to deal with lava anymore, okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, fiery inferno of houses.
I mean, technically we dealt with the fiery inferno. Again, I'm good.
So you
We can
guys are
just
just gonna stay in the yard the entire time?
Yeah,
Someone will
that seems
save
good and
us. We're just
safe.
gonna stay here.
Emmerich is down to deal with a blizzard. We can go do that instead. I'll have actual popcorn for Emmerich.
I could bring a blizzard in. You won't like what's in the blizzard.
You're gonna pass.
I mean, they made an entire show after winter was coming. So, I'll show you what winter can really be like.
Oh, and then the fire would mix with the snow. Then it'd be all like black snow. That's awful.
It's good stuff. I had a whole um, when I was first creating the campaign, I actually made a small branch off. It can't be used anymore, so I can tell you guys about it. But the Valkyrie were going to get run out of their home and get pushed into Ixia as they were fighting stuff coming from the north.
But it didn't happen, White.
Nope, didn't happen. Yeah, but they were going to find the thing under the lake, set it free.
Oh, that would have been bad.
Yeah, that was a possibility of a mid campaign adventure, but decided against it. All right, anyway, back to what we are dealing with. Recap a little bit of last session. Ah! End recap. So, but to be fair, Kaporin was finally subdued by Luke during his Hulk Hogan session. Brother! And had a brief conversation with Luke before passing out completely. The group took Kaporin up to the room and tried tying him up, but quickly realized that this was not going to be a thing, so probably was just keeping vigil over him. During this time, I believe Amric made his way back. Well, first off, no, I'm skipping ahead. So, hole in the side of the wall. Polly, Kaporin, Nori, Richa. Richa. Yeah. So, Kaporin, in his unconscious state, somehow activated the lute, causing the faithful hound to appear, though no one had ever really interacted with the faithful hounds. Some do have knowledge of it because I believe Kaporin even said, like, oh, I can summon a dog and it'll warn us, though no one ever heard it. Nori had just left the room when this barking happened. She turned around, reopened the room because, of course, the moment she leaves all the boys alone, something crazy happens. But as soon as she opened up the door, the faithful hound who was basically guarding the room, attacked the first thing that came into contact with it, which was Nori. This prompted Nori to dispel magic, dispelling the faithful hounds, but at the same time, this was seen as an attack move towards Kaporin, and Kaporin's entity took over to protect him. So, with that, Kaporin whooped out of there after sicking Racha on Polly for at least one hit. He will remember this to make sure to continue attack. So that way, Racha cannot do extra attacks at him instead. But with that, Kaporin Dimension Doored out of there, leaving you all sort of bewildered. Racha going to the roof to try and see if he could find or see or hear possibly where Kaporin had went. Setting off southward as Nori sent her reflections in multiple different directions, and the southward one was the first one to disappear. Racha going down there went to the loudest tavern possible, went up to one of the proprietors who was currently kicking someone out, asked him if there had been a big sound bitch, playing a lute inside, which there was. Following him inside, Racha was greeted with Amric, who was currently a few cups in. You rolled a 2 on your performance check, so the lute was being played, but not very well. Though you were paid 10 gold to stop playing, so you'll take that as a success, because you were playing a lute, then you got money for it. So obviously, it was great. But during this time, Racha ended up going back with Amric to the establishment. Amric, seeing the destruction that was caused, because as he left the first time around, he was a bit tired and wasn't really focusing on the imprint of Polly on the wall, hole of Racha in the roof, and destruction of Nori on the stairs. He was more like, oh, I need a couple of drinks, and just left. But now, seeing everything, Racha did a very, very good interpretive dance, to the point where it seemed that Amric knew not only what Racha was trying to tell him, but other aspects of what happened without Racha even needing to say it or mime it.
It was incredible. Racha's expecting it every single time now.
Yes, you are the Racha Whisperer. But this prompted you to ask Racha, has anyone told Bryn yet? And Racha defeatedly said no, and Amric was like, well, we need to tell Bryn. I felt that was probably as Amric as it could have been, and Racha sighed heavily and defeatedly followed as Bryn was then summoned, told of what was happened, since Amric basically knows the entirety of the whole story. Bryn probably just registering the first sentence of Kaporan hulked out and was just like, oh, fuck. And then got her stuff on and ready as he was finishing the rest of the story. But they returned back to the room in which Polly had set up his lantern of revealing for him and Nori in case Kaporan came back invisible. Warning that Racha not come near because of his extra little friend, his invisible backpack buddy. But the lantern was snuffed as everyone came into the room together, and as the conversation was happening, all of a sudden, explosions ripped through different portions of the city, sending shockwaves and debris, fire and death in all directions, and a very close explosion happening nearby, sending the entirety of the inn rocking and almost collapsing, but being able to withstand it. This sent pure panic throughout the party, and no one gave a fuck now about Kaporan, and was more focused on getting out, getting safe, and reconvening somewhere, which Polly said to meet back at his parents' place. So Polly and Amric went down to get Amric's things. Nori, Bryn went up to get the rest of their things, and Racha went southward toward the stables to possibly assist. First, assist Bill, but secondly, assist anyone who may need it. Nori transforming into a giant eagle with Bryn on tow, flying towards the Shalmazel abode while Amric and Polly were careening through the streets trying to get there as quick as they could, when an explosion of the mining headquarters that was across the street from the Shalmazel house just detonated. The biggest explosion so far throughout the entirety of the city. Luckily, Nori was able to keep Bryn upon her and stay aloft through the shockwave. And luckily, the way that the mining headquarters is built, surrounded by very tall 20-25 foot walls, it redirected a lot of the explosive force down and southward, protecting a lot of the major residential areas nearby. Though Nori and Bryn landed in the yard, this sent Polly into a bit of a oh fuck double speed, more than his double speed was already going, at least internally. And as they turned around the destructive ruin of the Dirty Basilisk, which was Vernon Schlemazel's shop. They approached just as Bryn was hopping off from Nori and starting to go inside the house, dousing fires and getting inside. Annabelle was holding up an unconscious Vernon through the house and onto the lawn as Bryn went inside to Annabelle's command to go get Laverne, who was in Polly's room. As Polly showed up shortly thereafter, following in the same suit, they both witnessed as Laverne was impaled through the lower left side, up against the wall, over a destroyed floor. The only thing keeping her there was this giant post from a bed frame. After some decisions, I'll not relay whether they were good or bad, decisions were made in the heat of the moment, and eventually Laverne was retrieved off, though she had suffered very mortal wounds, and at that point in time, not much healing was going to be enough to stop it. Once someone gets a mortal wound, it's very difficult to stop it. It requires an absurd amount of healing. And she was bleeding heavily. She had but a few moments left as Polly dragged her out to the grass. Nori de-wild-shaped. Bryn went out into the lawn, and Nori started to... As Hawkus had been gusting and trying to keep the flames at bay on the southern end, Nori just decided to say, fuck that entire section of residential buildings, and tidal waved the shit out of them, which did douse the flames. But then the attention was brought back to Laverne. Vernon was brought back to consciousness briefly as Polly called out for him, and Laverne was fading quickly. Vernon stumbled and dragged himself over to Laverne as Polly sat over her as she left. And during this time, almost immediately, Bryn's hand sprung to life in a way that she hasn't done so for a few years, but is very innate to the Valkyrie race. With all her force, after she was consoling Annabelle, she gets derived over to Laverne's body to take her soul, as she was deemed worthy. As this happens, Bryn is able to understand that not only Laverne is at that death's door, but Vernon was too, and Vernon was in a much more savable state. So Bryn told Polly this, and Polly focused his efforts on his father, and between him and Nori were able to bring him back. Bryn took Laverne's soul and tucked it away, as she has been doing since over a decade now. And with that, Hawkus then stood up, confronted Bryn, and with Violet in his eyes, impacted his hammer against Bryn's chest, encompassing her, pulling out the soul that she had just took from Laverne's body and replaced it back into the body, healing her to a safe degree, making her stable and waking her back up. This taking a large chunk of energy from Hawkus, more so than he had left. And as Laverne scrambled up to the shock of being revived this way, a small violet crystal appeared in her ear, right where a stud would be. And Hawkus fell unconscious. During this time, Kaporin, in an unconscious fervor, whoever was controlling him at the time was able to, I'll just say, do some things. Oh wait, no, I told everybody, so I can tell you. I can tell it in the thing. So what did I say? So you went over to the academy gates, lied your way in, intimidated a guard, persuaded the academy head that you knew what you were talking about with the impending attack, and with the headmaster scoured to find the first detonation charge in the academy. You performed very well, enough to help inspire the headmaster to defuse said charge, and then you guys went to the second one and got rid of it as well just before it went off. 10 seconds left before the explosion. Then you helped contain, Kaporn helped contain some of the fire damage and save some people with his newfound strength. But after the drugs wore off, you were directed back towards your friends, and that's when you came back to consciousness halfway down the street, passing by the skeleton closets, which is still standing, because that needs to be the one that's still standing. But that's where we resume. Currently, Hawkus is KO. Vernon is KO after catching the hammer that nearly ripped off Nori's head as Hawkus went down. Annabelle's up. Laverne's up. All you guys are up. And like I said, all that, from first explosion to the whole Laverne situation and everything, roughly about 5 minutes. From Kaporin getting knocked out in the inn, about 45 minutes. Everything has happened within that time.
All within an hour. Wow.
Yeah. So, like I said, first off, it's going to be me and Kaporin, as he's currently the solo individual. You just steal a chip, you son. So, Kaporn.
You can't tell her no.
I didn't say no, did I? Kaporn, you come back halfway down the street, trying to catch your bearings. Obviously, the night sky completely just ablaze. Orange glow in all directions, many different buildings on fire. Currently, where you're at, no fires directly around you. None of these buildings seem to have been impacted. There's no debris or anything. This seems to be more of a staging ground right now. This is a safe area. A lot of people are getting pulled here for triage and for help. I told you all the spells that you are currently tapped out of. So, when you come back to consciousness, you know, like, you can feel in the loot, because you're attuned to it, and yourself, that, like, a lot of your reserves got used. Also, one inspiration got used as well. I forgot to say that. But, so currently, there's just people who are hurt. There are corpses nearby, and there are people just running around in all directions. But you kind of glance around and see the skeleton closet, so you have a rough... You know how to get to the Schlemazel house from here.
Okay. I mean, if the path isn't obstructed,
For the most part, no, because it's giant explosions. It's not like falling down buildings. So where there would be buildings that possibly were in your way, there's now just big holes that you can just be like, ooh, I can walk through now. It's actually a shortcut.
shortcuts, woo! But yeah, I mean, Kaporin's first instinct would be to find everyone else. So he's just...
Well, the inn's
Kinda
right
like a
down the
straight
street,
line.
so.
Oh yeah.
But
I guess he would.
You were told by Luke to get to your friends, and he pointed in the direction of the Schlemazel house, not the inn.
Yeah, I mean, he would just he'd book it as fast as he can to the Schlemazel house,
Okay.
unless there's some like large situation that
Yeah.
may require his attention. Then he's just going to continue running as fast as he can.
So you want to go the north way or the south way? North way is the fastest, but not by a whole lot. So it's really up to you.
Mm, he'd try to probably stick to the path that he knows the best, so he wouldn't be making too many detours. So if it's the south, whatever way he would take.
Well, the less turns and everything would be the south way. So you take that diagonal road all the way down to the corner and then take a left to go up to the Schmalzel house. Going in this direction, though, there is a very large pile of debris and a lot of water currently blocking your... As you get closer and closer to the Schmalzel house, you realize that it's like right south of the Schmalzel house. There's just almost as if a big wave all of a sudden came through and just destroyed everything right here, blocking your path.
Does it reminisce of the times Nori has flooded cities?
I'm trying to...
Because
I have not flooded cities, sir.
or you've used it like
She just murdered entire pirate ships full of men.
On the water.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
I've used
there's one-
tidal wave before.
Did you not use it in
you
a
used
lava
tidal
place?
wave.
No, I didn't have it stocked.
She used it once, when we were fighting the Baylor.
Oh yeah, you used
She
it
kinda-
to push it back.
Yeah, she used it to push it back. So, I mean, that's Caporn's only reference. But if it wouldn't spike any idea, he'd just be like, weird.
I mean, going this southern way, you do see the giant sphere of water that's currently wreathed in flames. But that's something that, like, you're like, for like the tiniest moment, you're like, Nori? No, that's not Nori. You're like, if that's Nori, she's been holding the fuck out on us. But then you kind of get over in this direction. Since she's already on your mind, you kind of like look at the debris of things and see some water. And like, that's more like Nori.
Random puddles everywhere.
But there's about like a 30 to 40 feet worth of debris. You can either kind of like try and get your way through it, or go around, or dimension door pass. Like, it's all up to you. But you want to move quickly though, because those walls that are right next to you don't look the most stable.
Yeah, if his path is blocked, then he'll try to take a detour. You wouldn't want to try to climb over it.
Okay.
Not the most graceful.
All right. So going back down south, cutting a right and then another right, basically just making a big circle. There is a little bit of watery debris here as well. Not as much though. Not blocking your path, so you can get through it. But you get to the town square, and make a dex save. As you get within 100 feet of the town square, and almost like your worst imaginations of what a volcanic eruption looks like, the floor underneath the town square, the actual ground itself, seems to roil up a good 10 feet before popping like the worst pimple in the world, and sending out fire and what you can only guess is some sort of magma lava in all directions out from you. Luckily, as you're seeing the ground raise, you started to backpedal a little bit, like, maybe that's not a good idea. And then as it reached its zenith and burst, you go and jump into the debris to just block any sort of chunks that might fly in your direction. You wait for a calming moment. Or at least not a sounds of fiery death outside moment. So basically you wait for 45 minutes. I'm just kidding. Before poking your head back out, and you see a crater where the town square was. And now cooling bits of magma just kind of spattered throughout around the opening and inside the hole itself. a large conglomeration of dead bodies, some half encased in hardening lava, others splintered, burned. It's just complete chaos here. But you also notice that like around the town square, there almost seems to be like these little extra geysers, these little extra vents where the lava came out. So just before the explosion happened and you were ducking away, not only is there the main explosion, but also these tiny little spurts of explosion out from these like little access points almost. And Polly, this would be the underground tunnels that Earthamarsh dealt with.
You mean the ones that were filled with lava already?
Yep. So,
Seeing like this happen, Kaporn wouldn't want to even walk in the area.
that's
He's
your
actually
only
going
other...
to use his boots.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, he's going to use boots. His boots of flying to just jump over the rest of the buildings over to the Shamaza house, and he knows that it's right on the other side of this neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay. So, you guys who are currently... Laverne is over with Annabelle, as Annabelle's just crying over Laverne. You guys are just put the hammer back into Hawkes's hand, and Vernon has passed out from catching the hammer with one hand, like the BA he is.
Me
Polly,
healing him right after didn't do anything.
no, this is more of a like just an exhaustion level event. Because remember, like I said, if you keep getting dropped and picked up, it starts to incur exhaustion points. So he did a lot of other things. There's a reason why he wasn't healing himself. He's tapped. So other stuff was happening before you guys got there. But during this, Polly, you're sort of split. You know that Noria is your dad, and you kind of want to rush over to Laverne, but you also like you're stuck, and then you also want to make sure Hawkes holds on. Like you're in a very confused emotional state, understandably. And Nora, you're over with Bryn before Bryn kind of like tells you no, go help them, and then Nora's like, no, I need to stand with my girl. Amric's just sitting there like kind of like sitting down, just like the fuck is going on. And then Kaporn comes. He hasn't had a whole lot of training with his boots. So almost kind of like probably the first few times that Star-Lord ever used his little rocket boots. He comes in a little too hot and then ends up like skidding across the grass in front of everybody. He's like, what did I miss?
After a little bit, Polly will look around and then his military training will kick in and he'll just start barking orders. Like, Bryn, we need you over here. Grab that diamond that you dropped and grab Hawkes, or grab my dad. I'll be there in just a second. Amric, grab Hawkes. Drag him, pull him, put him on Bill. I don't give a shit. Just do not let him let go of that hammer. Mom, grab Laverne. Nori, help her. We got to get to the nursery. Kaporin, I don't want to see you. And I'll run over to my dad, grab him, and
Polly,
start lifting him up.
I may have a spell. I can either have you guys all fly, or I can turn you all into giant eagles so you can fly a little faster. And injuries anyone has sustained will not carry over into the animal form. Carrying a Hawkes will be a challenge. Carrying Hawkes and your dad will be a challenge either way.
I mean, I'm not going to leave Bill here either.
I can cast Fly on Bill, too.
Whatever you need to do, we just need to get out of here. I don't know if that thing's going to blow up again or not. I don't know what's in there.
There is a large volcanic crater back
Yes.
that way.
We know. Anyway.
And we'll go grab the diamond that she dropped. And I think you said to go to Vernon, so she'll go over there.
Okay.
Last 4th level spell, gonna summon more pixies. I'm so sorry.
It's not a battle scenario, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna summon them and go up to everyone. It's like, okay, would you want to be polymorphed into something else, or do you just want to straight up fly?
Flying is fine. I can carry my dad with fly.
Fly is fine for me as well.
All right, how many people am I casting fly on?
Also, Nori, technically, you could polymorph Hawkus into something small to be able to carry. And
You have to be conscious. Otherwise, great idea.
Well, I mean, the strong people can hold people as they are, right? So I think we just would be able. You'd be fine to fly, and then if we need to carry more people, you or Kaporin might want to be something else.
I might stay behind while you guys go ahead. I'll be right behind you, but I need to keep up my concentration, and I don't want to risk getting hit by something fire-wise.
Just take Bill with you. He'll take care of you.
Okay. I've got one more wild shape left, so if need be, I can use that.
If you have to leave him behind, just get someplace safe as soon as possible.
I will not
But
leave your pony behind. And Nori's gonna cast fly on... Okay. Who needs to have fly cast on them? This is just for my notes purposes.
Kaporin's good.
I can technically fly for another 4 hours. So, or no.
Rachaw's at the front of the line.
Rachaw's not even with us.
Yeah, I'm already at the bubble.
I was gonna say, he stealthed back just to get fly cast on him.
I really wish Rachaw was here, honestly.
So, Polly, Amric, Bryn, Annabelle, Perrin already has that, and then you guys will be carrying...
And Laverne. She's
and
conscious.
Laverne. Okay, and Laverne.
And Bill.
Why not? Bill wouldn't mind flying. It's faster for him.
And I've got one more slot, so I'll cast fly on myself as well.
Roger
So
that.
Nori's gonna stay here, and I'm like, how far away is the nursery from here?
It's like 3 blocks. It's really close. 2 blocks even. Almost.
Yeah, on that picture, it's the thing in the bottom right. The blue
Yeah.
exclamation point.
All right, I'll wait like a minute and a half for them to get there, and then I will go myself with Bill.
All right.
I guess, would Bryn be needed to carry someone, or is it Polly, Amric, and Annabelle have them?
If you want to help me to make it faster,
Gotcha. I'll do that then. That's fine.
because I know Amrit can carry Hawkus.
But yeah, Emmer can definitely carry him.
Just do not let him let go of that hammer.
Yeah, please, I don't want to die.
It's probably bad for carrying someone who's unconscious, but Emmerich will just like bear hug him. So the hammer's in between them. Definitely not the right way to carry someone who's almost dead, but
And then I guess we'll fly towards Mazoga's bubble.
Horn would inform everyone that the academy is also a safe location. It is undamaged.
But it's also much farther away.
Yeah, it's undamaged and unscorched if we do need another place to run off to.
Okay. So, you guys all make your way flying. Sorry, I'm just putting down markers where all the explosions went. Okay.
I feel like you've made very good use of that one red background. For Roll20.
So, Nori and Bill and the Pixies are staying behind. And the rest move towards the bubble. As you guys approach, it is a giant sphere of water surrounded by flames. How do you guys want to insert yourselves into said bubble? Because it's not like the water is staying still. It's roiling. It's constantly in motion.
Is there any place that it's less roiling / no fire if we fly around it a little bit?
Make a perception check with advantage because you have everybody here with you.
Yeah, 20.
Looking
The other one
around,
was a 19.
looking around, I mean, the fire is catastrophic around this bubble because of that last explosion of the mining headquarters. It basically just sent fire and death in this entire way. Before that explosion, probably was some routes, and that's definitely how Rachaw got his 17 horses, or horses and other livestock, into the bubble. But once that explosion happened, it is just fiery death around the bubble currently right now. You see little points with that perception check. You do see where it seems like the water around the base of the bubble seems to jut out violently, really quickly, almost like a solar flare, but with bubble form. Like a water jet gets pushed out in a direction, and you see the fire kind of dissipate in that direction for just a moment, but then it's so much of an inferno around here that it gets swallowed up quickly. It looks like Mazoga's trying to make a path for people to get out, but it's just too much.
Does anyone have sending?
Yeah, I was gonna pop the Pearl of Power and cast Sending to Mazoga. We are outside. Family's really wounded. Can you make a hole in the top of the dome for us to get in?
Instead of a response, you just hear grunting, and like she's gritting her teeth, but you do see a small opening that opens up at the very top of
Then I
this
will
watery
fly towards it
aviary.
immediately.
Okay. With everyone following suits, you guys dive down into the hole, which is really just like large enough for like Amric, who's carrying Hawkus, to barely make it in without touching the water. Before it, as soon as you guys are all through, it closes up quickly. You see, as you're flying down, Mazoga is currently lifted up in the air, roughly about 35 feet. She's standing on what seems to be like a tree that has rapidly grown, and it almost looks like a hand with the fingers upreached, and she's standing there, and she's just got both arms out. The staff has turned into a snake, and she seems to be holding the head and the tail of the snake as she's focusing on keeping this dome up. You see she is using so much effort, she's sweating blood. But she's holding, and you guys fly in. Going down, you see a plethora of people and animals. Rachaw, you see your group flying in through the top. Some carrying unconscious people. But a small opening gets made around the base of Mazoga's tree for you guys to land at.
I will set my dad down against the tree. I'm sure my mom's going to come over and take care of him anyway. And I will fly back up to Mazoga and sit next to her and just quietly say Nori is going to be about 1.5 minutes with Bill, and then start praying and sending any energy I can into her or the tree or whatever it needs.
Okay. So, go ahead, Gabor.
I was gonna say, is it visible through the dome of water? Can we see through to the outside?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't see a whole hell of a lot because the flames are jumping up to about 50 feet high. So it just looks like a wall of orange on the other side, but you can see through. What sucks too is that water and fire make steam. So, like, there's like a perpetual fight between the flames and the steam cloud that's getting generated from everything.
Is it the building that's on fire that's causing the flames to wick up? Did you notice, or is it just
no? This whole bottom section underneath the mining headquarters just got torrented with fire from the explosion because it all got funneled in this direction. And so since the explosion, so if you look at the map that I sent you, that bottom blue exclamation point is the nursery. She's got a dome of water around all that area. That's a 2 block square that she's currently domed up over. So you're looking at like a 200-foot water dome. And all those buildings that were to the north and northwest of her, all that debris just got launched and is up against and like pushed up against the outside of the dome. And then it all got caught on fire. So you have roughly 4 blocks worth of wood and buildings that are currently the fuel for the flames.
I wanted to attempt to use shatter to create an opening against the wall of fire.
Mhm.
If I could, like, at least like break down the material that's right in front of the wall of water, or even shove it back, trying to give it
Yeah,
base to
you
the dome.
you would think that and then get close to the edge and then realize that's probably not going to be enough.
Okay. The spell gem wise, I did forget to ask, did Luke use the glibness?
Yeah, that's why I
Or
said
is
you got about 15 minutes left of it.
Just want to make sure I mark it off as being used and empty.
Yeah. Yeah, he used it before you dimension doored out. Hence why you're able to do all those persuasion and intimidation checks.
Yeah, if porn wise, if he understands that he won't be able to push this away, he will try to offer some healing to Izoga, since it looks like she's a lot of stress is on her body right now.
Okay.
Amric will do almost the same thing that Polly's doing, since he doesn't have much else he can do, and he's gonna kind of pray against the tree to nature, just that it holds strong.
Okay.
All right. Once that minute is up, Nori's gonna grab Bill and fly up.
Come on, Bill, we can do this. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Okay, so you make your way over to the Mazoga bubble, as we'll call it, and luckily for you, being a druid, first off, you're amazed at what you're seeing. Now that you're a lot closer to it, and you see what's going on, but as you kind of like get to the outside, you can sort of vibe your way up to the side of it. And Mazoga, since Polly said that she's going to be on her way, is reaching out for you, waiting to feel you somewhere. And once you get close enough to the dome itself, a small opening gets made for you and Bill that you can pass through.
Nori will go through as fast as possible, all her little pixies in tow.
All right. Easy enough to do, and you see the same scene of Mazoga on the tree with now Polly and Amric, or Amric's, you're at the base, Polly's on top, both praying into the tree. Kaporin trying to give some sort of healing to Mazoga, and it seems to help with at least the sweating blood situation, but how much it's actually making a difference is still yet to be decided.
Does it look like she's continually taking damage, keeping this spell up?
Yes.
Okay, then Nori will also do her part to heal her, because this woman is putting her damnedest into this. I've got a few spell slots left.
Okay. Feel free to roll it.
I'm just gonna make sure everybody on the ground is okay. See if there's anything that she can help with, and then if there's not, she's gonna go and pray with Polly.
Nori, as you come over, and Bryn, there are some people that you can help, but it's more or less like
I can't do. I'm not a healer, so I can't do much.
yeah,
but...
exactly. Like you're kind of instructing some people who are doing like shitty triage, like no, like hold this here. No, you need to take that out. No, leave that in. Like different things like that. Until you come across a bird.
He's over there just working away, constructing something from his backpack. And I'm building the gift back up.
Oh, thank God, Rachel, you're here.
Oh, hello.
Are you okay?
Just nods and is like, Bill, where are you?
Oh, you went to look for Bill. Seems like Hawkes had already went and got him before this all started. He's here. He's okay.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
What are you building?
He like screws on the last little bit and just like backs up and puffs out his arms as like, ta-da!
Do I recognize this thing?
Were you making the Amric gift?
Yeah, it was the Amric gift.
You saw a few of these in Seattle. If you asked about it when you were in Seattle, there are these things that have these little devices, and you put your phone up to it, and you can rent one of these 2 circular wheeled contraptions that you can put your butt on and pedal yourself, and it makes you go. And then you could just...
You made a bike!
So Rickshaw has made a bicycle. I'm right?
Yeah, it was a bicycle, and it's a little bit bigger than normal because it was intended for Amric's sister, and it was going to be a gift for his sister.
Why did you make this now?
Run?
Okay. You're good though?
Yeah. And
Okay.
he's like looking curiously at her, like, "You good though?"
Kind of. I'm glad you're here. She doesn't know why he's like, all right, I'm gonna let him use his bike. She doesn't understand why, but whatever. I'm gonna go back over with Polly and help him pray to our God. Okay?
Val, is there something I can do with Entangle? Because I have 8 castings of that.
Let them go through first.
Okay, continue.
He'll just nod. Get a feel for it. I know it's supposed to be Goliath size, but how?
You can use it.
All right,
You would modify the seat so that way you could use it. No one else. It'd be like Goliath or
Yep.
Racha. Like no one else could use it.
like riding in a big wheel for me. But he'll go and ride it over to Mizoga. And does it look like she can talk, or is she just like
Well, she's
out of
50 feet
commission
up in
while
the
she's
air.
doing this? Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she is in full focus mode. But Racha, I'm gonna tell you something. And you're a pretty good player, so I know you're not gonna abuse it. But Racha on a bike adds an extra 20 feet of movement.
Works for me.
So now you're gonna see fucking Armstrong.
The cavalry of of a tiny bird on a bicycle.
That makes him faster than a horse.
Yeah.
But he's gonna go as because Kaparin and Nori are there. He's gonna be like, "You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here."
Have you seen a meth head ride a bike? It's either hilarious or scary.
Did the child just come zooming past us, yelling at us?
Well, I rolled up, stopping in front of you guys.
So he does a power slide.
Nora just goes, I have no idea what you're trying to say.
I know we can't stay here with y'all, but we can't get necessarily. We have to push this debris away. We need an explosion. Wonderful.
From where you guys currently are at, you all have the map, so I'm directing you towards the map. The bubble extends around the entirety of the nursery. The wall directly to the right, to the east of the bubble, goes up in flames as another giant explosion destroys it, sending rubble and debris everywhere. And you see the dome that's currently covered almost like a malleable fabric get dented and pushed in as the explosive force is just pushing in on it. And you see as Mizoga's trying her damnedest to hold it in, starts coughing blood and choking the shit out of this snake. But she's holding on. She goes down to one knee before she has to turn and face that specific thing as she's waiting for the debris to start impacting. And she goes through the process of dealing with that impact, but now that entire section of the wall is destroyed and open. Completely everything lit on fire. Nori, your 23 passive perception. Through the flames, through the water, and into the debris and the crater in which the wall now is. From this distance, which is a decently far away, but all your attention's kind of focused on that right now, you see tiny black things start to pour out of the hole that was this, well, that is this crater.
Tiny as in actually tiny, or tiny as in far away?
Tiny as in far away. Because it is, almost 250 feet away.
Ray just goes, there's something coming.
Do you yell that?
Yeah, Nori yells that shit. And we'll point out the little black dots.
Okay.
Where are you, Nori?
I was up by Mizoga, but wherever, because I went up to heal her, but wherever the rest of the group is, Nori would be within earshot of both Mizoga and you guys.
We're all kind of around the tree, right? Like, some of us are on it and some of us are at the base.
Yeah.
The fighters are on the ground. Kaporin and Nori are up in the air with Mizoga. When Nori calls that out, Kaporin would look over and try to fly over toward that edge of the bubble.
Yeah, with her pointing it out, you can see. You can't see what it is, you just see all the movement.
I mean, we still have Fly on us, right? Because those pixies are still around? Okay.
Yeah, for an hour, right?
So yeah, I'd go with Kaporin. I wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah, America will too.
Cha would basically
Flies for 10 minutes.
do a quick run around on the bike, like doing a lap nearest the bubble as best he could, to see if there was any sort of gap that he could maybe guide people through.
Training for a triathlon. Got it.
Exactly.
Racha somehow ends up riding on the bubble, just sideways. We don't know
Like-
how.
like
No,
the
the
Olympics.
bubble's where he practices his swimming. He's gonna swim around the dome.
Physics is just it slightly breaks around Racha, and I love it so much.
It's magic.
He's almost fast enough where he could just fly.
I'm like right there. You
Yeah.
give me another level and I'll be like 10 feet off.
He'd be like a chicken. Every now and then he just catches some air.
Rachel gets on the bike and the wheels just go sideways and start to hover.
No, he ETs it. All right. So making your way around as much of the outside of the bubble as you can. Obviously, it's not a perfect circle that you can bike around. You have to weave in between like the different plants and everything that reside here. There is a small opening, but as you get up to it, where the flames seem to have been knocked out from this newest explosion, you start to see a horde of some interesting quadrupedal black creatures that are in full charge towards the bubble.
And this is from the same direction, or is
Yeah.
this a... Okay.
To the east.
He'll sort of like turn around to everybody and just like shrug and go, to the docks.
Does it look like these creatures are being hurt by the fire
Nope.
around or at all?
They're passing through it as if they don't care.
Okay.
But there's scores of them that are heading directly towards the bubble. They're only about 100 feet out.
Nori will tell Mazoga there are things coming. I don't know what else to tell you.
She kind of is already facing in that direction, so that you see the tree sort of move really quickly. Like the top of it seems to extend almost like it's made of taffy as it kind of pushes her up into the air another about 30 feet and then over in that direction so she can get a better look as she's still holding on to everything. She assesses. Okay. She turns and goes, I'm gonna drop the dome, sending it out west and east. Hopefully I can take out as many as I can. You guys take the rest of them and go westward.
Take the rest of them as in the
The
people
people,
that are
yeah.
here? Okay. Yeah.
How big
You
is this
too.
opening? Can we see it?
How big's the what?
The opening.
The opening to the east? It's only about...
The crater.
The east. The one that they're funneling towards.
Well, they're just coming in that direction. The opening just allowed Rachad to see through and see them coming. They don't care about fire, so they're just coming east from the east. The opening that Rachad's seeing through is about a 15-foot gap. And the crater itself is about a good 100 feet wide.
So these creatures are coming from the crater and not from outside the walls.
From what you could tell.
Yeah, Nori will start getting people like, we got to get out of here. There are things coming. We got to get out of here. Trying to get, because there's, Rachel saved a bunch of horses, right?
Yeah.
Can we get
Horses
some of
and
the more?
other livestock? Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get people on the backs, get them out of there. Trying to use any druid abilities I have because I'm so low on spells, and just trying to
You still have the
help
pixies.
get everyone out. I still have my pixies. They currently are concentrating on fly.
Mhm.
So it'll drop. I'll drop it on Bill. Because because he'll be okay. What else can I do with them? They have
You can drop
Entangle,
it
but
on,
that's the only thing I've got.
You can drop it on Laverne and on my mom. Because
Okay,
they're on the
I'll
ground
drop-
too.
I'll drop it on them too as well. So that's 3 available pixies.
Okay.
How much longer is left on Fly?
Right around 3-4 minutes.
For what time he can, when the bubble opens up, Amory's going to fly over everyone who's leaving, and he's going to try and direct them on the best path. I'm sure there's rubble everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Paporn actually has fly for another 3 hours, or 3.5 hours, give or take. So he will direct people as he can, but kind of picking up the rear, keeping an eye on these creatures. If they become starting to come close to the party or any of the escaping folk, he will start setting down a shower of spells.
All right.
Is she opening like a narrow area or a big one?
No, she's dropping the dome and sending half of it westward, half of it eastward.
I was just wondering, like, are all the people going like basically down that center aisle there, or are they just like
No,
keeping in a
they're all
straight
more
line?
they're not, especially when she's saying that. You guys are all sort of like going closer to the wall and taking that bottom street.
So is Mazoga expecting us to go east or west?
West.
Okay, because it sounded like she was like, "I'll try to take out most of them. You guys take the rest." And it's like, you want us to go that way?
No, she's saying I'm gonna drop everything. You take everyone else and go. And she would hope that you guys would know to go the opposite way of the
I was
incurring
hoping to.
enemy.
Rachel would insist she come too, though.
I will when I can, but I've got to focus on this.
Nori will give her one last thing of healing, and then continue on.
Yeah. Before you leave, I want my shields, and I will ask Nori to pull out my dreadnought shields, and I will
Nori
stay
will
with
oblige?
Mazoga as long as I can.
Good luck, Polly.
She's gonna insist that you go because she can't protect what she's about to be doing is gonna be like I need to be alone to do this shit so I don't have to worry about hurting anyone else.
But what happens when she falls? That's my thing.
She's got something for that.
The tree
then I will
carried her.
follow behind everybody and
Tree
keep
will
in the
catch
back.
her.
She's got about 3,000 friends right next to her.
I love that plants are her friends.
Mazoga's not alone.
Go for it.
Tech question: when I get a +2 for each shield,
Uh-huh.
so it only went up to 19, so I'd have a 21 AC right now.
Yeah, unfortunately with
Okay.
D&D Beyond it doesn't want to...
That's cool. I just needed to know.
Yeah. I think I know a way to get around that, but it's hard because I can only do it to one item. So I'm probably going to asterisk it, so that way you know that's the one that you need to equip to get the full bonus. But it only works when both are equipped.
Amric, when he has 15 to 20 seconds left on his fly, he's going to fall back, so he's with Pauline.
Okay, so you're just keeping pace with Holly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel will attach his lantern to his backpack and
Tour guide it?
yeah, turn it to what's the opposite of purple or orange? Purple. But he'll
Opposite.
turn.
I
So
don't know if
basically,
purple's a
the
good
most the most contrasting color from orange to
Blue.
Blue.
to make it so that people can
To be fair, there would be
see
some
him.
blue flames too, so...
Great. He'll go green because there's probably
There you
not
go.
a lot of green right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not dealing with too much phosphorus, so you're fine.
I was gonna say, is there copper around? Am I screwed?
Yeah, you're not going past any blacksmiths, so you're good. Okay. So with the plan set in motion, Mazoga fixates herself, tells you all to get ready, and with that you see, as she's holding the snake in her hands, it splits into two smaller snakes, and she points them in either direction, east and west, and then with a heave up, you see the dome split and become just two walls, and then she pushes them out, and making your tidal wave look like a little bitch. She tidal waves in either direction. It doesn't go as far since it's so much wider, but she does douse the flames westward enough for you guys to maneuver and go down that street that isn't on fire. And,
No jealousy, just pure respect for this woman.
and she holds the eastern wall up until those creatures are closer, and she ends up trying to concave it down, trying to do as much surface damage as possible to as many of these creatures as possible. So let me roll some stuff real quick. Okay. Alright. Not bad. Okay. That means a percentage roll. A. So, Mazoga, being Mazoga, you. Racha, Polly, what's your passive? Oh, yeah, your passive is 14, right? Who's got over a 17 passive perception? Just those two?
Two. Just the two.
Okay.
The bird and the druid.
So you see, as she waits to concave this wall of water on the group, you two, Racha always looking back mainly to make sure everyone's following him, and then Nori looking back because there's awesome druid shit going on. You see you see the top of the wave sort of come up and then fold down on the entirety of what's going on, and you're seeing these black body creatures flying through the air as they're getting just ricocheted and pinballed in different directions by this tidal wave. And then you see her, as you're starting to move further and further away, you see her arms extend out and almost grow in size, like trees are sprouting out where her arms were. Like they get super thick, super large, and extend out a very large distance away. And then you start to see her body getting larger and larger. But you realize it's not actually her body getting larger, as you're starting to see tendrils of vines, trees, plants, all the friends are coming up to conform and create this Transformer-esque organic body around her, as she's now, once it's done all conglomerating around her, breaks off and snaps, and she's like impacts the ground, sending a small rumble throughout the ground to you guys, almost like a small explosion, but it's just her. She stands about 100 feet tall now, with these large extremities, being as close to a tree ant as possible. But you see this shimmer behind her, an interesting... I don't think either of you have... Going through both of your guys' backstories in my head, and everything you guys have dealt with. Racha, you're the only... Between the two of you, this is slightly reminiscent of when you dealt with Trentimir and Nori. It's not Mazoga, it's some other entity that is just a brief distortion in the wind before it turns to this green luminescent glow that seems to come down behind Mazoga in her much larger form, and almost seems to embody, like it morphs in, almost sliding in, almost taking possession. as Mazoga succeeded on her divine intervention.
Yeah, rub it in.
She has a nature god, and it came a calling as it starts laying havoc to whatever these creatures are, and she's large swipes. She takes down a more of a portion of the eastern wall, but she's going to town currently as it's giving you guys the much needed distance break, so that way none of the civilians get hit by these creatures. She's able to mop them all up and keep them away from you guys. So, you guys move westward, taking this bottom route, and then you end up seeing that one of the initial explosions, one of the guys that you witnessed from the inn, but the opposite direction from the one that rocked you guys, in the place where, just south of the stables, where you guys originally had come through and saw everyone practicing with the alchemical fire, you can tell that the reserves of alchemical fire must have caught, because the flames here are a different hue. They're blue. They have that blue tint to them. And everything seems to be so much hotter even though you're further away. As there's a large hole in the southern section of the wall, and Rachel, you've already been down here, so you know this, but 2 of the main stable barns are completely destroyed, collapsed. Fire is spread to almost everything. The 3rd barn is completely ablaze, but hasn't fallen in yet. But you guys are completely blocked from the harbor. There's too much debris.
Warren would call down to everyone and say, keep heading west. Head towards the academy.
Well, your entire west way is cut off. So,
You have to go north.
yeah, the yellow pin down there, that's the stables. And the northern routes above it and the western route are currently blocked off with debris and fire. So you'd have to backtrack and go north.
You say we're right above the stables right now, that golden pin? Or
You're-
to the right
you're
of that?
currently right of it, yeah, to the east.
So we can take the
Warren
alley
would
or
look-
that straight up to the red dot.
Yeah, you can either go back and go up or go out the hole that has been made through the wall.
The
'Cause
one
that's-
to the south, you're saying?
Yeah.
Could a large animal potentially smash through some of the stuff and try to make a path?
You could certainly try, but like I said, this fire is a lot hotter than regular fire.
Yeah, and I don't want to sacrifice anyone for polymorph.
Hey, you, random old lady!
Oh,
Become an
it
elephant!
wouldn't work like that. You have to, it has to be equal to your challenge rating. So like a commoner couldn't do it. Have to be one of us.
One of us.
From my
one of us.
aerial perspective, do we have enough time to backtrack up that
Well, yeah, luckily
northern road?
Mazoga is taking care of all the creatures behind you, so you're not currently being pursued.
Is something out the hole to the south? Like, did that get broken in or broken out?
It got completely destroyed out, so it's just an open void in the wall. There's no fire or anything because there's nothing for the fire to cling to. But there is no streaming black entities coming from this hole.
Flying over the wall, I don't perceive any enemy, anything in the area. No.
Nope. A lot of dead bodies.
So that's a more clear path.
Currently, yeah.
All right, I guess we gotta go that way.
I mean, yeah,
Not
probably.
necessarily, but Rachel would actually look towards Polly because this is his place. And what do you want to do?
I don't know. I mean, should we
I
go to
do.
the academy or should we get out of here?
I do have to say, if Miss Delgo doesn't kill all of them, they're gonna go to the academy. Might be safer for these people just to leave.
We also might be sending them to their deaths going out that wall.
Hey, fuck you! This is our town. We're not gonna leave.
All right.
You've got 99 dwarfs behind you.
On the wall, 99 dwarfs.
I got 99 dwarfs, but a bitch ain't one. That works
right.
oddly here.
To the academy.
The academy.
Yeah, with this type of group, if you talk too much and plan, you're going to start getting some very forceful retorts.
Nope, I appreciate it.
10 seconds of planning is too much? Jeez.
For dwarfs and a city on fire, yeah.
The
All right,
porn's
back
gonna
up
try
in
to-
north then.
Okay, so you guys backtrack, go northward up through the street. A lot of this has been decimated from the explosion of the mining area, so luckily a lot of that debris had been shoved up against the water dome. So there's not a lot in your guys' way. As you take the left and go down that street, you're starting to get a little bit cut off in the street with debris and rubble, but it's still enough for you guys to be moving through. You're passing by survivors, people who are injured to a degree, and the civilians that can are like rushing ahead and like trying to like pull people from rubble and get people going. So soon your group goes from about 75, 80 to about 150 as you guys are starting to move through the streets. So using the map, you guys have gone up and then took that first left. Now your guys are at this intersection. To your left, full of debris. That entire section is destroyed and on fire. To your right is... Yeah, it seems to be decently untouched. Forward, there is some fire. Not enough to completely impede you guys. You could probably deal with it. But you would have to deal with it to go forward. So you can either
Are we talking like the intersection next to the familiar?
Yes, you guys are right outside the familiar.
I would definitely direct people to go north one more block and then take the straight shot.
Okay. So with Polly directing, you guys head northwards.
So was the volcano eruption at that triangle that's just north of us now, or?
The white triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the town square. That's where the...
Okay. Just wanted to figure out how close we were getting to that.
Yeah. So going up to the next intersection and taking a left to go up the diagonal road towards the green circle, you guys start heading that way. And this, you guys know this path, this is actually back towards your guys' inn. So heading diagonally up, it does seem like this straight shot towards the Academy Road is being used as a very triage-heavy section. Bodies are starting to get piled, and people are starting to try and help as much as possible. You end up losing a few people as they stop to help others. So you go from about 150 to 130. But the majority of them are still following you guys heading...
Wouldn't we tell them that something's coming?
Well, yeah,
Like
they
there's
would know
danger?
that, but they're also going to help their people. They're not going to...
Community.
All right.
Get them going and get them up and moving, and then come with us, kind of thing.
Yeah, they're trying to help as much as they can. Those that can be helped get helped. Those who can't get left behind.
Are there any like certain people that have like made themselves known as far as like medics or?
Oh yeah,
anybody
you're
that,
definitely
like,
seeing
taking
healing
charge?
clerics. Like,
Okay.
yeah, you're definitely seeing people doing what they can, but they're more focused on trying to either help people or put out stuff or de-escalate situations rather than like, where's the enemy? Let's go fight them. They're more like,
Right.
oh
right.
shit, let's get all the injured out of here first. So you guys heading diagonally past the Trident Trinity, and start moving past the skeleton closet. Kaporn, this is where you came to. And just as you guys are passing the skeleton closet, the companion, you see this light blue sphere encompass the entirety of the large general district shop known as the Companion. That's that yellow circle that you guys are heading towards. It starts from the very top and spreads out like a force field. And just as it reaches the bottom, all of a sudden, within the dome itself, another explosion rocks and sends chunks of this stuff flying and impacting the inside of the barrier. It seems to be more containing than it is protecting. As you see this giant fireball encompass this entire dome, and just a royal of flames, smoke, and fire is being contained within here before it all kind of goes away, and then that force field drops. And you see you see a quick figure flying through the air, and all of a sudden a small blizzard gets formed over the top of this, dousing a large majority of the flames here.
We recognize that individual? Or no?
Not from he's like 300 feet up in the air, and yeah. But you guys all kind of stop for that scene, and then you're like, okay, it's taken care of, and start moving forward. You want to go south or north of the Companion?
Which dot are we at this point? Sorry.
Closer to the Academy, the yellow one.
So we were at the purple one to the bottom right of it.
Yeah.
And then are we at that intersection now? Next to the blue dot?
Next to the blue dot, yeah.
So I might as well just keep taking the road up.
So just going diagonal?
Yeah, straight shot.
Okay, towards the yellow dot, or white dot, I mean. Okay, so you guys take the southern section and going up in that direction. Once you get towards the green dot, this corner has been used as a sort of forward operating base. You're seeing a lot of Academy personnel are currently out here, setting up just straight triage, like pulling in people. You're seeing carts being set up, taking the injured that can't move, getting thrown on there, and there's just a constant stream of carts going back and forth to the Academy gates. This slows you guys.
Sorry.
This slows you guys down considerably because there's a lot more foot traffic right here, and that's probably why that explosion was contained, because it would have basically killed all the people here. You guys have 130 people in tow. There's probably like 300 to 400 people in this weird multiplication intersection here. So it does slow you. You guys get into it, and then you lose about 30 people as they go either to start helping, to receive medical help from people, or to start searching for lost loved ones. Go ahead, Paulie.
When we get to that blue dot, I want to stop there and make sure that the party, like our group, has gotten safely away. And then I want to head south to Vinny's uncle's to make sure his uncle and his stepmom or his step aunt are there or not there or alive or whatever.
So you get to the blue dot and you look southward towards Vincenze's home and abode, and it is all it's doused flames, but it is completely charred and burnt.
Okay, then I'll continue with our group.
Yeah, it just takes you a quick
family in sight.
Yeah, it just takes a quick look over there. Just like the flames have been taken care of in a rough radius around this triage area, but it was definitely a blaze. Okay, so you guys move forward, lose a few people to the intersection. You guys are gonna just continue on with the caravans and push into the academy, right? Okay. Getting to the next little X of an intersection. The people who aren't gravely injured kind of get held up by the guard as the caravans with the gravely injured people are getting let through, because they don't want to clog everything up and have like the front gate just get steamrolled by people. So they're sort of starting to section people off, like, okay, who needs help, who's okay, like, and then as your group gets forward, you all right?
We need to speak with the headmaster.
We
He
are
looks
all right.
up.
My family is not.
He's a little busy right now.
The gates. Mazoga's fighting some creatures. We need to inform him.
Yes, we know. We've also been fighting them at the north.
Oh, great. That's just fantastic. Love that.
I don't know why you love that, but we're taking care of it.
Sarcasm, sir.
It's a little tense for sarcasm, but you're all right. So
I'm freaking out.
go to the south line right now. We're just taking the injured and the gravely injured right now into the academy. Don't worry, you guys will be next. Just hold on.
Bring your
Rachel will thumb towards the unconscious people in our group and go, injured and gravely injured and into the academy.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure that my family is like right up front to get immediate help.
All right, go ahead and put them all in the caravans. And they're going in.
I'm gonna pull my mom aside real quick and ask her how she's doing.
She's like not letting go of Laverne, and it takes you like a moment to be like, "Mom," and kind of like gently cheek slap her, like focus. She kind of blinks
Mom,
at you.
Mom, are you hurt?
She kind of quickly like feels herself. Think I'm okay?
Can you put on some armor and start kicking some fucking ass because of this shit?
I'll see what they've got in the academy. I obviously don't have any of my stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally understand.
I need to make sure that Laverne and Vernon get inside, though.
They'll be fine, I promise.
I need to make sure.
I'll let her go.
So she helps Laverne onto the back of one of the carts, who is still very tender with, everything that she just went through. And Annabelle just fucking body hawks fucking Vernon onto the back of the cart. And then...
I mean, we're there to help.
Well,
She
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to do it by herself.
Yeah, but I
I
mean...
really hope they're being careful with Hawkus and having him hold on to that damn hammer.
Well, I was gonna
Oh
say,
no,
Amber-
like the
Amber
second
can
he
bring.
gets there, I am picking him up and tossing him face first onto that fucking wagon.
With the
Making
hammer
sure he's
underneath
still holding
him.
onto his... Huh?
With the hammer underneath him as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. His face doesn't really matter to me right now.
Just take any cloth we can and just tie his hands shut. Because we're just like there. Just
Yeah, strap it
attached.
to his hand.
Does anyone have duct tape? I'm kidding. I don't say that.
That's Seattle.
Rachel does. It's duct tape.
Okay. So since she's going with them, you guys are kind of relegated to the side for a bit as the carts start moving forward and going through the pathing to get into the academy, along with like a large number of people who are kind of like hobbling and bandaged up in some degree behind them.
Can we help the people who are kind of hobbling around? Just like help.
Well,
get them
they're following
through?
the carts going into the academy, so like they're just part of in line. It's the people who are less injured but aren't going to be helped in case of defense or anything like that.
Should we help at the front?
The front gate has like 40 guards at it right now.
Oh no, I'm talking to my group as far as like
Okay.
they're battling those things in the north of here. Do we want to go help or?
That's where I think I'd be best suited.
How far to the north? Will we get there in time, or should we stay in case they break through from the east?
Let's get farther ahead. I don't have much to give, but I've got one more wild shape. I can stay up in the sky and keep track of everything, if that would be helpful.
I can take care of that Nori without you wasting a spell.
I have one spell left, bud.
Well, use it to fight. I can fly.
It is a first level because I had used 2 on you, and then Nori just keeps walking forward.
You guys start to see a small contingent of the guards coming through the gate. Some sort of reinforcement squad of about 20 guards are running out of the gate, from the picture, out of the gate towards you guys, so taking that right-hand turn, and then going, once they get to that intersection where you guys are currently at, they start heading northwards up that street.
Yeah, I guess we head north. Or at least that's where I'm going.
Bryn's gonna follow them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Like I said, it's very hectic here. You guys have a lot of people that it's very much Disney rush hour as you're like, everyone hold hands as you try to move through the bodies of people here, alive and dead. And as you guys are moving through, just getting to the very northern portion of the intersection, all of a sudden, behind the academy walls, a large explosion sends a huge fireball into the sky. Some of the walls that are current, it seems to have happened, so from that intersection that you guys are at, that corner that's closest to you guys, it seems to happen right behind there. There is a decently large dome building that does extend just slightly higher than the walls itself, which you see seems to be the origination point. As it explodes, you see the walls almost buckle from the impact, large cracks happening within the walls. You see the gate, which is a large iron reinforced gate, sitting about 60 feet wide and about 80 feet tall, gets shot like a bullet from a gun, just tearing through these carts of people that were on their way into the academy, and just leaving a mangled mess like the worst caltrop getting shotgunned forwards, and bodies and carts, horses just flying in all directions, let alone the fiery explosion that follows through the opening of the gate. Polly, you see this happen and immediately look down. The cart that your family is on was not immediately in front of the gate, but it's no longer on the road. You look to the north of the road and you do see the horse-drawn cart is pushed up against the side, both horses dead, and people are starting to pull themselves out of the wreckage. You do see Annabelle and Laverne as they start to pull themselves out of the wreckage, and Annabelle and Laverne are both pulling on Vernon's body as he's getting him out of the wreckage as well. No Hakos. But guards, all 40 of those guards that were at the front, all dead. All the people that were carted right in front of the gate, all dead. And you don't know how much destruction has happened on the inside of the academy.
Nori has a hand over her neck, just like anything to protect that, because if that hammer goes, she's gone.
I will drop my shields and run over and help.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Polly.
You guys see, as you're starting to approach, the cart was tilted up on its side and pushed up against the wall. But it looks like it didn't make it all the way to the wall. Like something stopped it from getting smashed together. And as you guys are approaching, you see the cart kind of reset a little bit as if something let go, as this violet dome, or violet sphere, seemed to have reacted and created, protecting everyone that was on the back of the cart. As Hakos is dragging himself out with the hammer hand. Without a leg.
I will pull out my med kit and run over to help him as best I can.
As you
Rachad,
run up to him, he's like,
Rachad
"Don't worry about me, get Vernon."
I will turn around and get my dad immediately.
Rachad would have held back from going down that way, and is like very focused on this gate, because he knows that creatures have been coming out of these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. Make a perception check.
Can I assist Rachel on that?
Yeah. Make your own, actually.
Can I make one as well?
Yeah, everyone can make a perception check on this.
Do I have advantage since I'm up in the air above the gate?
Oh, you wanted to be up in the air? Go ahead and make a dex save.
Okay.
Explosion. Shockwave. It's not always smart being up in the air.
Since Polly's gonna go help his dad, Bryn will try to help Hakos.
Okay, Kaporin, you take 5, 13, 21, 25 points of fire and bludgeon, or so half and half fire bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
This sends you careening down to the ground. You kick your boots on at the last moment to like stop your impact, and you kind of skitter into the ground a little bit, but it doesn't do any extra damage. But you kind of like tumble and fall, and then like land with your back up against the wall, like, oh fuck, that sucked.
I guess payback's a bitch, but he wouldn't want to be stay on the ground.
We'll get to you in a second. Bryn, you went over to Hawkus, and after he shooed Polly away, he takes his hammer and he like spins it. So one side of his hammer is like the faces of it. It has 2 different runes, 2 different sigils, and on the back, which usually keeps as the backside, it has this sigil that almost looks like a spider. And as he focuses on the hammer, it lights up red hot, and he just touches it to the stump of his leg, cauterizing everything going on down there, which he lost his leg just below the knee. So you come over, and he's just like, and just smell of burnt flesh. Though it is kind of all around you, having it happening currently in front of you, it's a different smell. And you kind of just... You kind of come over to him like, you're like, how do I help? And he kind of just like puts his hand up like, help me up.
Yeah, I'll help him up.
He looks around really quickly and points over to what looks to be a iron banded door that seems to have been destroyed from some building over here. He says, bring that over here.
All right, we'll go grab that.
He is going to... Well, you guys seen some of this happen before with Rashi. She's going to fabricate, or he's going to fabricate, and turn the iron into a prosthetic.
Damn, this guy's badass.
He's gonna prosthetic it into into basically just a blade, so he has another weapon on him.
Are we really surprised?
Is it like the girl from the Kingsman, where it's like a gazelle leg?
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Of course. Got to make it look fancy. It's even got the little hook at the bottom where it's 2 for that extra stability. And right now he's kind of just like testing it and trying to get used to it as quick as possible. Again, still a large half of the top of him is completely burnt and scabbed over right now. But with the hammer in hands, and he's kind of like using it as a crutch right now as he's walking around. Going over to Vernon Polly. Using your med kit, you would be able to stabilize him.
I mean, I can cast Spare the Dying, but I hope he has more than 1 hit point.
With that damage that you took from this, no, he doesn't.
I will immediately cast Spare the Dying and then work on him with the med kit.
Okay, sounds good. So you stabilize him up there. Okay, Kaporin. Go ahead,
Sorry.
Polly.
While I'm there, how does Laverne look?
Shooken, but the paleness from her body, I mean, even after she got resurrected, she was still pretty pale. The color's starting to come back to her.
Can I reach into my bag and just grab a bead of nourishment and hand it to her and say, eat this?
Yeah, definitely. She'll gobble it down voraciously. And a little bit more color comes to her skin. And she kind of, after you've stabilized Vernon, between her and Annabelle, she'll just be, go kill something, please.
I'll nod at her and I'll go back and get my shields and come back.
Kaporin. Let me see. Perception checks. Nori, Racha.
I didn't roll one.
Yeah, you gotta roll one as well. Actually, you don't need to roll one. Okay, so Nori, Racha, and Kaporin. The sound around here is deafening with everything going on. The screams, the fire, the chaos going on. Everything is tumultuous. But if you've ever been in a scenario where there's just complete chaos going on around you, and I could justify this to a degree being in the battlefield, there's a moment where sometimes too, like if you ever play sports where you can just tunnel vision and everything just goes deaf and quiet around. There's that moment, Kaporin, that this happens for you as you're sitting there with your back against the wall. Through the chaos of everybody and everything moving around, you hear and you're kind of like, why am I hearing this noise? And you're kind of like looking around, and your vision is kind of tightened a little bit. The blacks of the edges, tunnel visioned. As you're searching around, you're seeing people running around in different directions, some missing limbs, bleeding, dead, others just different burns and just the chaos. Racha and Nori, you guys also get this quietness that seems to cut through everything as you guys hear. And Kaporin, it's after a couple of iterations of this that you kind of like snap on something that's walking through the crowd of people. Standing and walking through very elegantly and smoothly. The red horns cutting through the black hair. In a nice suit of pinstripe. With a chain in his hand and a pocket watch at the end of it. Just spinning it and catching, spinning it and catching. And this is making that noise. Just walking through, almost everyone sort of parting like a wave around him. His red skin giving off this interesting glow from the fires around. He stops in the middle of everybody and everything, and you're a good 30, 40 feet off, and he kind of just turns and looks at you, Kaporin. And you just hear in the back of your head, "Hello, son."
Father.
And he gives you just this big old grin. "Glad you were here for my coming out party."
Tried to stop what I could, but seems welcome home.
You'll learn quickly on it. You can't stop the inevitable. As he continues to walk forward, and you two, Racha and Nori, you like I said, you hear the quiet. You don't hear the conversation because it's only in their heads, but you see Barnabas standing and walking betwixt the crowd of everything. As he stops and looks over, and you see his eye gaze and meet Kaporin's. And then he continues to walk forward once again through the crowd, and people just seem to be just moving around and out of his way. Like they don't even notice he's there. But it's some sort of force in the way that they respected enough to move out of his way. As he...
How far away is Bryn from me?
You went there and there. About 50 feet. Other side of the street. And Kaporan fell decently far away from you guys, so you're like looking out 80 feet at this happening.
Would making my way over there put like a target on my head?
Possibly.
Okay, then Nori won't move, but she'll look very distressed.
So to give you an idea, you guys are, the majority of you are currently at that intersection. Went a little bit towards the northwest up that street to help with Polly's family. This, where Kaporan fell, is closer to the crater that resides closer to the wildlife sanctuary, and Barnabas walked out through the gate. So with the fire and everything around him, he walked out in that direction, past all the dead bodies and everything. And then he started to turn towards you guys. So he's currently walking towards the intersection, where Kaporan is closer to the wildlife sanctuary. But he continues walking forward.
So he's walking towards us or away from us?
He's currently walking towards the intersection. So Kaporan would be to his back, and you guys would be to his front. He's currently in between you guys.
And only Nori and Rachad notice him.
Yeah.
I'm too far away to reach out.
But as you guys are trying to focus on Barnabas and keep a track on him, with people moving everywhere, it's almost as if as something moves past your face, he vanishes.
Okay, once he vanishes, Nori tries to get 20 feet closer to Bryn.
There's people in the way, but you can do it.
This is so Demon Slayer right now.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Kaporan's gonna get up.
Well, if I can get to her, I'll get to her, but if I can't, then I'll reach out.
Be quicker to reach out to her, because you're kind of like moving between people.
I believe Kaporan's father is here.
Where? Well, I guess she's not. Well, she'll like try to find you in the crowd if you're reaching out mentally, and just say where, and like, don't point, just.
He disappeared in the crowd, but he was coming towards us from the what direction?
Academy. West.
From the west.
Hey Val,
Yeah.
can you post that screenshot of the city on Roll20?
I can post a new one with all the explosions on it.
Ooh.
Hold on.
You want still a visual on Barnabas?
No, he's gone.
We've lost Bryn.
She's frozen.
Frozen in fear.
She
As
just
we
looks
all
like,
should be.
She looked like she was with like really deep thought on my screen.
You see here, I think this is it.
What was said? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what was said. My freaking Zoom just crashed.
Why you always lying?
I'm not lying.
Oh
now,
my
now
God.
it says I have no internet, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
Stop fucking lying.
But yeah, I would have
Barnabas
said, Hawkins, we have a problem. And tell him Barnabas is here if he knows who that is. If he doesn't, but I feel like he does.
He does not.
Not. Man. Real bad man.
Alright, this is the new one. The red stars are explosion locations. But I will also put it in a roll 20 so stream can see. Sorry.
Like, we're not getting enough heart attacks from what's going on right now.
I feel like sick to my stomach. I'm so stressed.
I have like the red or the heat of rage on my face knowing that my father just appeared. Grab more alcohol, Amric.
We are officially back. Yay.
Alright. Should be on roll 20 now. So you guys are currently here. Whoops, not that color. That'd be difficult to see. You guys are currently there. And Kaporin is there.
Horn, after seeing his father, would probably stand up and yell out, "Leave this place alone, father!"
Okay.
And Nori's going over to Bryn and just praying. She doesn't really have a god, just hoping against all hope that this doesn't catch more in
Bryn,
flames.
can
than
I
it
borrow
already
your
is.
god?
She's
You have
got
a
her little
god.
YMCA flower.
Can I ask, did Kaporin go like this?
Begone, Satan!
You're gone!
Kaporin, would you like to persuade or intimidate?
Persuasion.
Okay. You do not have glibness anymore.
Does Rachasa
Mhm.
have a bead on him, or did
No,
he
he's-
vanish from everybody?
He vanished from everyone.
23 persuasion.
And what exactly did you say?
Father, just leave this place alone.
I have to pull up a character sheet. Hold on.
Oh, wonderful.
Barnabas, where are you?
I don't.
He can stay hidden, you know?
Yes,
That
he can.
character sheet does not need to come out.
Man, you guys thought the JJ fight sucked? We're all about to die.
Horn's about to die for a second time.
I already had one very near-death experience today.
I didn't put his name on here, so I just gotta go by level.
Well, Nori, I've got good news for you. It'll still be your only near-death experience.
Straight death.
Only near-death?
Yeah, because this one's definitely gonna go farther than that.
This is straight
Yeah.
death.
Okay, is there a search function?
Alright, time to pull up my backup character.
Can I search by class? No, I cannot.
I think you can. You want to give us what class he is?
What class do you think he is?
I have a feeling that all of his stats just say TPK.
All of the above.
BBG? He's just a
30,
BB.
30, 30, 30.
He's level 20 of everything, or at least.
No. He's not level 20 of everything.
He's level 20
Most
in half of
things.
everything.
Then level 10, like of the rest, it's fine.
He's not level 20 on anything. He's above 20 on everything. It's my father we're talking about here.
I did say at least.
It's my father!
You're not my father.
He is. That's the problem.
You know, guys, it's possible to write normal families into your backstories. Just saying.
Okay,
My
Zelik
family
was
is
not supposed to be
normal,
as much.
okay?
Zelik was not originally that much of a jerk. He was a little bit of a jerk, but he wasn't murder jerk.
My father was supposed to be a knight in the order or something similar.
I mean,
And
he
I
could
don't know where
have.
the hell Barnabas came from.
He could have.
You made an absent
to start
father
somewhere.
fucking backstory, okay? When you make an absent anything backstory, I get to put my fingers in it and do whatever the fuck I want to do.
That's why you gotta go all the way and just let them die.
See, the problem is, Val, when they started, they didn't know you. They didn't
Yeah.
know what would happen.
I was
That's
just
why I
being.
got voted the longest backstory. No holes.
I was just
And then
trying
I took you to a different universe.
I gave a magic item, or it was a questionable magic item in my backstory. It gave mysteries, all of that fun stuff, but it bit me in the ass.
See, I just didn't do anything. So if Val wanted to do anything to me, he would have had to do all of the work.
My one friend I wrote into my backstory is dead. Or not dead. Not with me anymore.
Okay, I found him.
I was hoping that you wouldn't.
You say that, and you're kind of just speaking out to the crowd now, Kaporin, and this one dwarf turns his head towards you as his eyes go black. And all you hear in the back of your head is, "Be quiet, little one. Get some sleep." And you go unconscious.
This town and me going unconscious is ridiculous.
Give me a wisdom saving throw. Usually that would be a good roll.
Yeah, I figured.
But unfortunately, with your father, it's not good enough. So you are staying asleep. So, Racha and Nora, you guys would have eyes on Kaporin and see him basically just slump to the ground.
Having just seen Barnabas, I feel like I can logically be cautious of this. I have a very paranoid character, Val.
You guys play your character how you think your character would play. You don't need to pass things through me.
And Nora just kind of looks.
Would we have watched or at least seen the dwarf, or is it just too packed of a place right now?
It's like I said, there's like a few hundred people around here.
Racha's probably going to try and look for high ground to some extent, I guess, where he can go.
Currently around here, the highest high ground you'll get, besides going up to the academy walls, which are on fire, the companion's toast. So probably the blacksmith, the twisting nether that's north of the companion, it got protected from the blast by the dome. It'd be the next biggest building that you could get on top of. And it's only like 4 stories up, so it's not super high up there, but it's decent enough to get over the tops of most of the other buildings.
I love that you guys are just leaving Kaporin passed out in the middle of the street.
Yep, I'm fully doing that.
Well, a lot of people are like unconscious around, so he blends in. He's not going to die that way. I might end up dying. We'll see. But yeah, he'll probably like sneak off over to there to see if he can get a better vantage point, to see if he can at least see which direction he was going, because he obviously was going southeast. But if he like changed direction try and spot him, kind of thing.
All right. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
And I have something I want to do after.
What's that, Nori?
Just get over to Brendan Hawkes and just kind of look at Hawkes and mouth, I think we're fucked. Even more so.
You think? As he points down to his leg.
Believe it or not, it gets worse.
I don't expect it to be getting any better.
Good attitude.
Once Nori gets over to Hawkins and stuff, Bryn's gonna go over to Polly just to make sure he's aware of the situation as well.
Emmerich gonna follow them.
Okay.
I do not want to split the party.
You're already split.
I've just got my shield
Back together
set
with
up,
the...
Go ahead.
Get back with the 3 fighters.
I've just got my shield, like, both of my 5-foot shields, like, dug into the ground a little bit in front of my family.
Rich, as you currently look down the street, you don't see a tiefling male walking in any direction. He never made it to the intersection, at least in his form, so you don't know. Like, he wasn't
For sure.
angling towards a direction before he vanished.
Yeah, and from there, I'm not that far off, am I? Am I like 3 blocks away now, or how far away
No,
am I
you-
from like?
From that large X is where everyone's at, so you're only like a block away. Yeah, you're that white dot.
Could I like feasibly make it back to the group like pretty
In a
quickly
turn.
though?
Yeah, with your speed.
Yeah. All right. Then I'm sort of just gonna observe from over there and like keep an eye on everything from a little bit of a higher vantage point. Especially since they said they were fighting in the north too.
Oh yeah, you can see that from here too. Scores of guards seem to be fighting some sort of black quadrupedal creatures of some sort. They've created a phalanx line and are stopping. They're holding and they're stopping these creatures from getting past them. Currently, right about. Let's see if I can go. Red. They're currently there.
Does it look like they're in trouble, or does it seem like they're just
Well, more and more
Very
guards are
capable of
making their
holding.
way there.
gotcha?
So as long as they keep trying to come through that pathway, they'll be able to hold. The guard are like they've created a line, and they're about 7 deep right now.
But yeah, he'll just be watching for now, keeping an eye, and then the other place besides that fighting point he'll be watching is watching the academy that blew up, and like if things start flooding out of there.
Okay. Anybody else?
Can I not be asleep on the ground?
Nope.
Just hunkering down.
And currently, right now, it's controlled chaos. There's nothing new happening. It's just all sort of the same chaos. Just constantly happening around you. Kapoor, you do get picked up and moved over with others that are unconscious.
Wonderful.
So you're a little closer to the group now, but you're with the unconscious people on a little cot. Just taking a nap.
I would say the dome just automatically pops up because he's sleeping on a cot all of a sudden, but
When head hits pillow, dome arises.
it's just programmed into his brain at this point.
Richa, with your passive perception, keeping an eye on these 2 different locations, as the group is kind of just surviving in their locations right now, you notice that The phalanx line seems to be pushing back and then splits to go west and east down the streets and starts pushing back these creatures, killing in their wake. But there's a point in time where all of a sudden a large swath of the guards just disappear. And the black creatures flood the rest of them, the ones on the west, flood the western group of guards, and then flank the eastern group and basically kill them all. But they don't come southward. Once they're finished with the guard, they seem to scurry northwards back through the crater of the north wall.
They're targeting protectors. They want something with the civilians.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
They don't seem to care enough about the civilians to stop from killing everybody.
That's been the explosions. The black creatures have been targeting protectors. Mizoga. These guards.
They work for the same force. They're not doing a good job of coordinating.
Out of character, I'm just thinking of Full Metal Alchemist, the whole sacrificing a bunch of people. That has been my thought this entire time. Maybe, maybe not, but that's where my brain is.
They're just amassing souls to commit a giant magic circle.
The
Hey,
entire
and someone
city.
lost a leg.
The entire city is an alchemical circle. Don't let him touch his hand to the floor in the middle.
I mean, they're doing it in Reincarnated as a Slime. Gotta kill 10,000 people to become a demon lord.
If you kind of look at the map and the explosions, it's kind of in a circular pattern. If you look closely enough.
If you look closely enough at anything, you can see anything that you want to see, so.
So they're actively like just leaving, going up
Yeah.
north.
Yeah, they're going back through the crater hole of the north wall. No more explosions. The fires are incrementally getting dealt with. The Academy fire gets put out completely.
Polly, are you able to tell any of the Fang's members that he's here? Because I'm assuming he's
Absolutely tapped. There's nothing I can do. And I'm literally like holding up my shield and falling asleep into them. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm tapped out.
Nori? Are you able to message them?
I have a grand total of 1 first level spell. I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
Find that bard thing. Wake him up. Get him here, whatever. I don't care.
Alright, I'm gonna
He's probably
go
got
searching
something.
for Kaporin.
Nori will go with you.
Okay. With Nori keeping a passive perceptive track on Kaporin's body, knows where he was placed.
You watching him get dragged around.
Exactly.
So the fighting and everything, and everything's becoming under control over here. Can I, like, are we up a hill? Can I see down to where the Mizoga was?
No, it's all pretty flat. And that's a long way away.
Yeah, but if it was like downhill, you could
No.
still see something like that.
No,
But
the only
yeah,
portion that's on a hill is the Academy.
Can I see the 200-foot tall avatar of Mizoga?
No, you do not.
When we get to Kaporin's body, I'm gonna try to shake him awake.
He wakes up.
Kaporin, did you tell anybody that he's here? Assuming he knows.
I just learned. I learned like
Message,
very-
Elena, message someone from that group.
Call someone,
he's here.
please.
They're probably looking for him. You know where he was.
I shake it
You
away
know
if
you
want me
can't. You know you can't reach the Fang. If Elena's right next to him, then she's not going to be reachable either.
But RX is unavailable, and we've already tried with the Vita, and it hasn't worked. Yelena's our best shot. Please, do something.
Or Aelinade.
He doesn't know
Ilinade.
Ilinade. Oh, he met
He didn't-
Ilinade
he
once.
met
yeah.
Aelinade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We raved with that guy.
We had a dance party. Majority of the people that he would contact this route. I mean,
Tell him he's here, who's here, where we're at, and that shit's gone to hell.
Barnabas, Solbrun's on fire. Shit's fucked.
you wouldn't contact LNA. You wouldn't know them very well. I guess he's contacting what's her name? Sorry. Rang's wife.
Elena?
Yeah, Elena. He'll try to message Elena, is using his only sending spell he has.
Yelena.
Yelena. Excuse me. Sorry.
Okay.
Please do not smite me anymore because I mispronounced the name.
And you dropped a 1 hit point. I'm just kidding.
Then all of a sudden I get whacked in the back of my head.
Barnabas takes you home.
Elena. Oh, wonderful! I just fall into a black void.
Family reunion.
Yeah, no. And you'll just reconvene the message, just like
What do you say?
Elena, Barnabas is in Solburn. He's attacked the town. Everything's in flames. Don't know where he is currently, but he's here.
Nori suddenly remembers the ability for sending to be tapped.
To be what?
Tapped. Like a
Like you
phone.
can wired, like a wiretap.
Oh, okay. Doesn't go through. You get that
I tried
blocked
to,
feeling.
I tried to message her, but they must be together.
Let's get back to the rest of the group. I don't want to be separated.
All right. We'll kind of get up to his feet and follow the girls.
Roger that.
As soon as Bryn gets back and I see her, I'm gonna look at her and did you guys have any luck?
No, he didn't connect to her.
Well, if it's who you keep saying this person is, don't you think that they would already be here if they could be here?
I know, that's my worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, with everything that's going on, I'm really worried too.
Just slippery bastard. He could have been anywhere. I'm sure they're trying to track him down as we speak.
Please don't insult this man. He could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just kidding.
Don't poke the bear.
Well, he's back. Not in a good way. He spoke to me in my head, just briefly, but
Did he say what he wanted?
he didn't say anything about what he wanted, just that he's glad that I witnessed his return. Right, Val? He said, or something similar to that?
Glad you made it to my coming out party.
Yeah.
So your dad's gay, we get it.
I was
Right.
this close to saying happy pride. I was this close.
But I don't get it, Kaporan. You've had a lot of voices in your head lately. What's going on up there? I'm getting real tired of you casting spells on people, breaking promises, ending up in the middle of trouble constantly, saying you don't know how you got there. I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like everywhere we go, you're right in the middle of everything.
I know.
I don't even blame Nori anymore.
Mary feels a little hurt. but accepts
Sorry.
it because it's kind of true. I know I'm a danger magnet.
I know I apologize. In recent events, it's
I know you apologize and you're always sorry for it, but you never face the consequences, and I'm getting sick of it. You expect us to fix the problem for you over and over again. I can't do it anymore.
I know, Nori. I'm sorry. I know
Then
my
mean
apologies.
it by fixing it. Sorry only goes so far.
This last attempt was supposed to fix it. I was hoping to understand more of what's going on, and I didn't know what the drugs would do, and I'm
Then why would you take 3 doses of it, Kaforin? You have no
You're
idea
just-
what that shit does. And you just kept going.
just didn't know.
You realize not only you could have killed yourself, you could have killed innocent people, you could have killed one of your friends, right? Because you say sorry, but it doesn't seem like it gets through. It doesn't seem like you understand that what you are doing is going to harm someone eventually. And you are getting damn lucky you are not killing someone.
And sits there and nods. Yes.
If you
I want
talk
you
to
to-
this loot thing again, you need to take responsibility for what he's doing. You need to take control of it, because we can't keep fixing all of these things that are happening.
Yes, and
We've given you many chances. This is the last one.
I'll get him under control. I'll control what I can. I don't blame anyone for being upset at me, and I apologize for any damage or harm I've caused. I regained the memories of what happened over the last hour, and horrible things I did. I know I can never fully repay all of my debt, but I will make an effort to change and to control these outbursts.
Okay, I get it. What were you doing while you were gone? Do you remember that at all? Maybe there's relevant information there?
When I spoke to Luke earlier, he mentioned he can somewhat sense my familial ties. He can't clearly see anything because he's trapped within the loop, but he can almost smell them. He says he's
Was Barnabas tracking you?
been following me around for the past few days, it sounds. But I
He's
wasn't
been
able
tracking you.
tracking. I'm not sure.
Everyone make an
But he's been
intelligence
in.
check.
I'm smart.
Except for Cha.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one with the highest intelligence chance is not there.
I'm saying that's pretty good for me, actually.
I believe everyone was. Wait.
How did I roll the highest?
You're angry. You're thinking. You're.
Because her child's not there.
Wait, Polly.
Um,
You've never been to the keep, right?
Which keep?
The group's keep.
Nope, I've only heard about it.
All right. So Polly's roll does not get to be added to this.
before we get back into it, I would like to ask, if I remember right, all details of the dream about Barnabas from Rashi were intentionally kept from Amric. So do I know anything about anything that's going on other than what Barnabas looks like?
I think everyone talked about Barnabas a little bit.
Especially when he showed up at our doorstep.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting to. When Valek talked about Barnabas, Nori, you do remember that Barnabas was in custody. And as a group, knowing that he was probably in custody at one of the academies, putting two and two together, though it was never told to you, he's been in custody here. And that last explosion at the academy let him out. So you weren't being followed or tracked, Kaporin. He was just here.
He was just existing in this
That's
area.
why Luke said that certain times he can sense him more, because whenever you went closer to the academy or were at the academy, the smell was stronger. And that's why it's smell and not magical sense, because the academy is warded from magical sense.
Is that what the portal in the basement's for?
There's a portal in the basement?
Polly, you have dealt with the dungeons beneath academies.
Yeah. Don't want to go down there.
But you also weren't...
pretty bad.
Yeah, you weren't told about Barnabas being under lock and key, so...
And glad of it.
It's a bit of a knowing two sides of the story from different things. Just Nori's finally bridging that divide.
Yeah, Nori will communicate that to everyone, just kind of putting two and two together.
Explain why Luke could only sense him or smell him at certain points, but I didn't know he was here.
Then what the fuck do we do?
Stay out of his way.
Woman,
I mean, at this point, we're not strong enough to take him. I think even if everybody in this freaking city helped, I'd be close.
he may have been chained up, but he is very strong still.
Looking over at Hawkes, how does he look?
Missing a leg, half burnt to death. He's
I
alright.
mean, he's fine. He's
alright.
fine. Yeah.
He's alright.
Is he hearing this conversation?
Nope.
What's he doing?
He's over with Vernon.
Oh, I thought that I was literally standing in front of them while we were having this conversation.
Yeah, but they're not focused on what you guys are saying. He's just trying to make sure his cousin's okay.
There's no stopping my father right now. When
I have
more,
no illusions of that one.
When I have more power, after resting out, I have to contact Rashi and let them know what's going on. I'm sure.
Rashi can't do
does.
anything.
Oh.
But if
There's
Dad shows
nothing-
him,
I know she wants to take him down, but... Sorry. I know she wants to take him down, but... God knows where she's at, and... all she's gonna do is say, kill him.
Yeah, she doesn't have a plan either.
just a warning. I know Rashi's family has ties to Barnabas as well. Better to let them know, at least so they're not caught off guard if he does pop up.
For now, I think we should just focus on surviving.
So, what do we want to do? Polly?
We need to find some place to rest. We need to find some place to not be sitting in the middle of the street. I need to get my dad in a bed, and my sister as well. They're not going to last much longer out here.
Is there anywhere safe?
Polly, you see something somewhat familiar in the sky. Two streaks of white light, two balls of light streaking across the sky, going south to north, and meeting up, going insanely fast, and then coming to an abrupt stop. And you see that they're stopped currently in front of the one individual who was above the companion when they created the force field. And you see the two balls of light, one go south and one go west, towards the walls of the city.
Can I attempt to reach out, just mentally?
Sure.
Can I reach out mentally?
It is not who you think it is.
Okay.
When trying to reach out, you don't feel that warmth connection. It's probably some of the other Asimars.
I look at the party and I say, well, it looks like we're okay for now. It looks
What
like
are
we've got
those?
guardians. Oh, they're. Don't worry about it. Just know that we are as safe as we can be for right now. They will take care of this as best they can. But like I said, we got to get someplace where we can lay them down. My dad's literally on death's door and needs to be someplace safer and a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Does anybody know where Bill is?
Nori would have put him somewhere safe, definitely. I wouldn't
Yeah,
have.
he's with the group of individuals, probably holding someone who's unconscious, just kind of chilling.
Nori just like points.
The
I just have to
buildings-
say that is the bravest, smartest pony I have ever met in my entire life.
Oh, don't worry. He's gonna get plenty of whiskey when this is over. Are the buildings around us residential, or are they're not residential? They're all businesses, right?
No, right here you're at This is a residential intersection.
Okay.
The closest business is the apothecary.
Okay. As far as that's concerned, like doors open, doors locked, people going in and out. How are
Yeah,
people
no,
treating these
it seems
places?
like some of the more hurt people since the academy had gotten under fire had been rerouted into some homes. So a lot of homes are turning into triage centers.
Okay. I just want to spend as much time as I can taking care of like my family. Obviously,
Yeah,
we can have words later.
and with Hawkus and Vernon and Laverne's situation, you guys could be ushered into a house with pretty good ease, especially with the rest of your group being some sort of protectorate in case something were to come.
Okay. I will whistle for Bill. I don't know if he knows that yet, but I'll
Oh, he
whistle
does.
for him anyway. And have him come over and take the unconscious person off of him and make sure that they're still alive.
They are.
Okay.
So you
And
guys are
bring
down
them in the
about-
house. I mean, come on, he cared enough to take care of it, so bring them in the house with us and get everybody squared away as best we can.
Okay. Easy enough to do.
Once Rachel marks which building they all went into,
Yeah, you can
Rachel's
see from there.
gonna, yeah, he's gonna cross the street and go see if he can figure out what the hell caused this explosion at the one that was caught in the barrier, I assume,
Yeah,
just
that's a good
south of
idea.
me.
Before you do that, with your passive perception, you do witness something. Those two balls of light, obviously, joining with the individual in the sky, and then the individual went northwards, and the ball of light went south and east. Sorry. As you kind of are tracking your group, and they go into the room, you kind of like take one last glance around, and you start to see this void of red and black. And these flashes of blue. Just like, well, you've seen it in the past when party members of yours have used shield to block attacks. So you know sort of what it looks like. And you're seeing shield after shield after shield as these red and black stripes are going and impacting this blue shield. You see one of the white lights, the one that went eastward, redirects and comes over as the individual who is up there pretty much tapped of spells and is just trying to survive at this point. Basically, the ball of white light impacts this red and black figure, spiraling further out towards the northern wall, while the individual ends up flying back towards the academy. You're seeing impact in small warps of dust, fire, different colors of attacking and such, until there's one point where the white ball of light turns into a white human shape. And you see an Aasimar standing there as the light slowly fades. And this large black hook is through the midsection of it. And the glow of this creature slowly dims out before this creature who has this large black hook through it seems to shake it off of it, and that Aasimar falls and impacts the ground, sending a small shockwave out. And that figure that was the culprit seems to warp into space and disappear.
That was at the North Gate?
Yeah. And straight north of where you're at. Where the impact crater was. So that star at the very top.
Oh man, Rachaza is such a curious bird.
Well, what happened
so
over there?
well, he just watched a person fall, and he knows that they're very injured at the very least. So, oh man, yeah, he's gonna be as sneaky as he possibly can be, but he's gonna go that way. But so there was the mage or wizard or whatever was up there, and then the Aasimar came over. The mage disappeared.
The mage, yeah, flew back to the academy.
Gotcha. So then the Aasimar fell, and then the other Aasimar is in the south.
Correct.
Yeah, oh man. Rachaw's crazy. He's gonna go for it. Yeah, he's gonna see if he can go get to that Aasimar.
Yeah, that blue circle is where he dropped.
He's gonna be stealthy as much as he can, but he's gonna do it.
Okay, go ahead, roll stealth.
How much of a distance is that, I guess, actually?
You're looking at about 400 feet. Straight line. Moving around everything, you're looking at like 700. So like 30 seconds for you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like how big is he, I guess? He's an Aasimar, so he's like twice my size, right?
He's close to about 7-8 feet.
Yeah, so while sitting on top of his bike, he will dimension door with his cape over to him, because he can't dimension door back with him, and hoist him onto his back with his last key point.
Well, we'll get to that.
Spiritual arms.
You dimension door roughly in his direction, towards probably the lower intersection, that T intersection.
Yeah, more
directly
or less.
south of it. And as you do so, you kind of are in the forward momentum situation, but you come to a stop really quickly as this Aasimar body is now crawling with these black four-legged creatures crawling all over the body, ripping portions of flesh off. Go ahead and roll stealth. Luckily, Dimension Door doesn't make too much of a sound when you appear. And so you kind of stop and immediately pull your finger off the little bell. You're like, nope, don't make the ring. The creatures don't seem to notice you. There's about 12 of them. But they are chunking this Aasimar body.
Is he moving at all, or
No.
is it just completely unconscious? All
It's
right.
definitely hyena-esque.
Then he will ride back in his stealth, away from them.
Okay. The whole time Rachaw's like, hand completely away from the bell, like, nope, don't do it.
Now's not the time.
And then once he gets back to like the big crowd of people, just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Ah, okay. But did you want to go back to the crater to look for the explosion again?
He'd probably go back to the academy, knowing that mage got there.
Okay. It is a clusterfuck at the academy entrance because, whole explosion thing. So it's going to
I'm
take
on
you
a
a while to
bike.
get in.
People get out of my way.
People don't know what a bike is. They can only hobble out of the way so fast.
John needs to get a patent and he will make millions.
Fuck off, you man.
Thank God I have the ATV or the all-terrain wheels. Just
Mountain biking, yeah.
yeah, I figured because it was going to be for Goliath, it needed them.
It needed a little extra rubber, yeah. Okay.
And I bet Rachad's so fast that when he starts, he does the cartoon thing.
Little burnout.
He starts spinning the wheels. Yeah.
All right. So it's going to take you a while to get into the academy. But the rest of you guys are down at the house. Just resting and relaxing. As relaxing as this is all been.
Staving off a panic attack?
Warren would fill
Nice.
everyone up in whatever other information he has. Also in the side mission that Luke has given him, but
If you mention anything about a side mission, Bryn's not listening at this point. That's not important right now. And she will visibly, she won't say anything, but she will visibly just tune you out, and she's going to be going and doing something else.
Warren
What time of the
doesn't
morning is
like
it?
inform.
Like 3 or 4?
We're talking about time. With everything going on, it's closer to like 2.
Yeah, Warren does inform them of what was blowing up, what was going on, and any other pertinent information he felt like they needed to know right now.
And Mark will kind of just be sitting at one of the windows, keeping watch, seeing if anything happens out in the square.
Okay.
What was blowing up? And would Hawkus know what it is?
If you bring him in on the conversation, it says he doesn't have anything that would have made those types of explosions. The alchemical fire, though, can be quite deadly, especially if all pooled up, like he saw on the southern. The explosion ignited the fire rather than the fire being the explosion. So he was dealing with that because that was one of the first explosions that happened. And he's like, that's where I got this lovely remodel. But he says it was something strong, and he's like, the only thing that he's ever known to do that much damage from a single explosion like that is a suicide glyph. Basically, it's a glyph that gets put on the user's soul and uses the soul as power to make the explosion.
So he was exploding people?
Yeah, that kind of tracks with him, I feel like.
That's at least
that
what
what
Hawkins says. That's the only thing that he's dealt with that has done such devastating damage.
Is that
Is that what Kaporn witnessed when they defused the two in the two earlier?
It tracks. But the people that you were dealing with, they weren't unwilling victims.
Suicide bomber that
Yeah.
at the cave.
So this is a whole conspiracy.
You wanted a cult.
Well, crumpets and enjoyed some tea together. Not this kind of cult. But we were informed my father is the head of most syndicates.
Hawkins would even tell you it's the only group of people that he's ever known to actually do this are the blood magic users of the Jinn down in the Avibian Plains.
Mari kind of runs a hand down her chest where she knows that mark is.
With him explaining it, Kaporin, it does track.
If Warren's pulling history correctly, isn't someone in the Avibian Plains that we know? Or
No, that was where
being
one of
held?
the portals that Pawn was could take you through.
I thought we had someone being held captive by the blood magic.
Well, there's Floki. Well, it's not really someone you
I
can
just don't-
call on. That's more of a.
I don't know if
This
it was
poor
a Kapoor
guy.
memory or it's a Noah memory that's remembering this, but
That was a Noah. Because that conversation, I believe, was between Valek and Bryn. All right. So,
I
Rachael,
just.
have you fully decided what you wanted to do?
Ah,
Yeah. Bomb, no bomb.
bomb. What?
The explosion site. Did you want to check it out?
Oh no, I was looking for the mage.
Oh yeah,
at the
Academy. Sorry. Finally getting through. It would take a while. Asking around for the mage, they would point to the main academy. Moving up there and still asking for wizard guy. Eventually get pointed and pointed and pointed in the direction till you finally find it. In one of the larger halls, which is turned into a triage area where a lot of very close to mortally wounded people are. The headmaster is currently sat up in the corner being tended to by 3 clerics. He had his robes on, but they've been mostly cut away as he's got large gashes across different portions of his chest that the clerics are currently just trying to close. And he's got this large serration like through his neck. And he's hanging on, but he probably used the last of his oomph to get here.
So I obviously saw the other guy got hooked or whatever. And it looks like the same kind of weapon did all this.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be like any corruption or anything. It's just a lot of blood and
Yeah, no, it seems to be just
Violence,
more like a very
gore.
a very sword wound-esque.
is he unconscious or no?
He's in and out. He's fighting to stay awake, but it's touch and go. He still has rolls to do. He's not out of the woods yet.
One of the people that's like assisting him and trying to help him are they just like clerics throwing heal spells at him, or
Yeah.
are they like
No, it seems to be probably higher end clerics, probably teachers. One looks to be possibly paladin by what he's wearing, but they are dumping as much concentrated healing as possible, as well as like doing the physical, like med kit stitching up and trying to close things, try to physically and magically help the healing process.
Sounds like he doesn't really have anything he could do to help. Then, I mean, he'll go up to the people and offer the 2 healing potions he has, but I mean, they probably already have plenty.
Yeah, they would shake you off and just point out to other people and say, find someone to use it on, or keep it for yourself in case we get attacked.
Yeah, I don't think he probably wouldn't have the spine to do the Schindler's List of picking who gets to live and who dies.
Just walking like shaking with the bottles, like everyone reaching out. Help! He goes around, gives 1 drop to everybody.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't be able to do that.
Gets
so
about
he'd
3/4 of the way. There's like 20 people left and only like 10 drops. Oh dear. Gets some water, dilutes it.
It's just to regain 1 hit point.
It's not even. It's like a sliver of a hit point.
Theoretically, it could be like 10 hit points per. He could
Dole out 1 hit point
stabilize
per person.
10 people or 20 people.
You say that and you'd roll and get 1s.
Exactly. Then yeah, he'd probably head out because he was just gonna notify him, I guess, that Asimar didn't make it.
Gotcha.
Was what he was looking to do. So I guess he'd probably relay that to one of the teachers that are healing him, and then head out.
Yeah, easy enough to do.
And then yeah, he'll go check out that crater site that was capped by the.
Well, you do also have the
headmaster.
crater site in the academy grounds that you could check out.
Yeah, since he's closer to that one, he'll check that one out too, just to see like what the hell happened here, or like what caused this.
Yeah, as you're going over to it, the crater, though you've seen a lot of other craters being very wide and destructive, this one's actually decently small in diameter, but deep. And as you get closer and kind of like look down into the hole, you're seeing open jail cells as this explosion seemed to rock its way either down or up, going into the dungeons below. And you're seeing a bunch of paladins, clerics, and other guards and such that are currently just... It's no longer a contained situation. It's if you're a prisoner, you're going to die now. Like, we can't worry about putting you back in jail. So it is a clusterfuck of a battle going on down there, as spells are being slung, blood everywhere, prisoners are dying. You're seeing like the majority of the fighting force that's left is here, because if Barnabas was one of their captives, who knows what else is a captive down here, and they're making sure that it doesn't get out.
Child looks down there, strokes his beard, and goes, "All that experience." But
It's time to level up.
he's just so close. But yeah, if he can't tell like whether, so I guess from here he'd want to see if the explosion went in, or if it was him bursting out.
Unfortunately, with this site, it's too hard to tell. Like, if you had a calm scene that you could take your time and investigate, you might have a chance at it. But currently, right now, it's a pretty cylindrical hole, so there's no like explosion angle that you can work with. So unfortunately, you're not sure.
Yeah, he's gonna be that TikTok that's like, yeah, let's not go back down that door, and head on out to the other one instead and look around there.
Okay. This one's very much more surface. Doesn't go down into the ground pretty much at all. Seems that whatever explosion did this probably was on ground floor. and it's contained, and like the sphere or the dome that went over it, the destruction goes all the way up, and it's a perfect circle. But since everything was contained so much, it pretty much disintegrated a lot of things rather than leaving behind a lot of debris. So it almost just looks like a crop circle in the middle of this town.
And what building was this prior?
This was,
was
the
the-
large general like strip mall. This is the one where you guys have the magic items.
Gotcha. Did anybody stand out as somebody that would have been here at all, or no?
Not that you guys encountered.
You mean like an NPC?
Yeah, like somebody that was.
Remember, this also
'Cause-
happened in the middle of the night, so
Yeah, well, he's thinking like you can't go around this entire city in a singular night, setting up all these explosives everywhere to go off at random times. So he's like, somebody throughout the last couple days probably came through here, sort of thing. And so I guess he's just sort of kind of thinking like, when we were here buying stuff, did anybody seem creepy, I guess.
like I said, another thing, like no one that you encountered, no one seemed to be off in that in that degree.
The shopkeep was a little creepy. He was very rude to Caparin.
Everyone's rude to Karen.
But I guess he'd sift through some of the ash because those things were some pretty hefty magical items. Did this whole place get incinerated?
Yeah. And you also get the sense that since there aren't any magic items left behind, they probably didn't keep them here overnight. Remember,
Makes sense.
the magic shop that was in this strip mall wasn't like a full-up establishment. It was more like a pop-up. So they probably take their items away
Makes sense.
at night, yeah.
Selling things out of the back of their van kind of deal.
Yeah, free candy across the side.
Wonderful. I was just very worried as a player that iron flask was destroyed in whatever was in there is no longer in there.
Like, oh shit.
That would have been bad.
It would have been fun. Alright.
So I guess that's what we need right now when we're about to all take a long rest, completely spent out of stuff, is a challenge rating 20 creature showing up.
Alright, so
Someone say Trask.
that's a 30, I believe. So with that, anything else you want to do, or you want to head out to the group, or triage?
Honestly, he's feeling all right for the most part, and he knows that they're all safe now. That he's gonna probably either double back to Mazoga or see what's going on with that Asmar, but he doesn't want to go too far out just because he knows there's those shadow creatures around, and so he's definitely being quiet about it too.
Okay. Well, I mean, Mazoga's all the way down at the bottom, so she would be a bit far to get to. If she was still there. You guys never said to meet up anywhere, and she's a big girl. She can decide where she wants to go.
Yeah, for sure. I guess was I able to see the Southern Azamar fighting too while I was up on the tree?
No. I mean, you'd see the little ball of light kind of dip in and out of view from like rooftops, but other than that, it's too far away to make anything out. It's almost a mile.
Oh, he'd probably spend like the next, I don't know, however long it took till he was pushing exhaustion to like ferry people one at a time with his bike over to the wherever he could to get people to places that they could receive aid.
Very call the midwife-esque. Got it.
Richaw, you are a national treasure.
I'm thinking of the what's that one, the army movie with Andrew Garfield in it, the pacifist guy.
Oh yeah,
Ridgeback,
yeah.
Ridgeback Mountain or something.
Hacksaw
Like that.
Ridge, yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, doing stuff like that, where he's just like one at a time getting people to somebody that could potentially help.
Gotcha. All right. You did that for a couple more hours before it's starting to push exhaustion.
Gotta get Rich on one of those carts that attach to the back of the bike.
The little kid carts
Yeah.
with the
people
yellow
drive the dog.
flag and everything.
He already built one of those to try and work with a horse on that. He's got a blueprint.
Okay. So, you do that up until the point of exhaustion. Gonna get back to the group and sleep there, or
Yeah, he'll crash with them after he's done as much as he could.
okay. So after a few hours, Richaw, ching ching, makes his way back to the group. Power 360 sliding in front of the door, because after a few hours of practice, you're probably out there ready for a BMX.
Oh yeah, he was like parkouring off of buildings and stuff, doing all the tricks.
Very X game.
Richaw, the pro BMX biker.
Yep.
The only one in existence in this world.
So he is a pro.
Yeah, probably by the end of it, you ended up finding some bits of rolled iron and use those as pegs for the back wheels. You're like, ooh, innovation.
Yep. It's just got to get all the things I could possibly think of. Like, oh, this would really help right now.
And you probably at some point too added tassels, because you would have seen that in Seattle,
Exactly, they have to. It's aerodynamic.
and a playing card.
Yeah.
He gets the tassels at that one shop.
Oh yeah, at the skeleton closet.
The skull.
It's just a flayed end of a whip. No, they're nipple tassels, and he just stuck them on
You
the
just stuck the caps.
suction
Yep.
cupped them.
Yeah.
Just attach pasties to the bike.
Yeah.
I just imagine a montage where every scene Richaw's bike is a little different.
Adding another
And
thing. Yeah.
I can't help but think that in the last scene he would have a like the just married thing trailing behind his bike.
A couple cans on a string. That's what he's got the card for, between the spokes.
One of these days, like I said in the chat, he's gonna be sitting there staring down some big old thing that's about to start chasing him, and the
Cha-ching.
wanted dead or alive is about to start just playing up.
So eventually, Rachad does make his way back to you guys, looking bedraggled and tired as hell, but making his way through the door. Like every bicyclist with the bike over his shoulder as he's walking through.
I imagine that we set up like a little nest for him. So it's like in one of like a slightly broken rafter. There's like a bedroll up there.
Rachad, you're like, this is dangerous, unstable, but I like your style.
Yep. He'll sort of
Not a-
go over to Emmerich and plop the bike in front of him and go, surprise, and then just fall asleep right there.
Just a little bit of blood on it.
He goes, surprise, and then he's like, oh, wait. And then has to extend the seat to be Goliath size. And then he goes, ta-da.
Good crashers.
I definitely,
Good,
every time I think of Rachad, especially trying to interpret something, I think of Wally. So that's what I see every time you're like, interpretive dance time. I'm like, ta-da.
Good craftsmanship, Rashaw. How did what is it for? And I look over and he's
He's
asleep.
knocked out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in this regards, the explosions are over. The town is getting cleaned up to a degree. The fires are getting put out. Reinforcements arrive from different towns. And you guys can get that long rest. A very tentative rest, but you guys can eventually get your long rest. And you guys will be waking shortly before noon.
Did I get a receipt for my plate armor?
Sorry, all things are non-refundable.
Did you pay up front for that?
Oh, that
The
should-
shop's still there.
that shop's still. That was where Richard was standing on. That shop got protected.
Whether the
by
blacksmith has arrived
Well,
is
yeah,
another
that's
question.
another complete another story. But usually the blacksmiths don't live too far away from their shop, like Vernon and the Dirty Basilisk. So all that area is relatively unscathed. So you got a good chance.
Can I mark off a dawn?
Yes, you guys can put down long rests and everything that those are entitled to. But we will go ahead and end the session there. As the chaos of the night is over, the chaos of the morning will begin.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Kaporin does hand off the spell gem to either Nori or Polly. It's empty now, so
I'll let Nori have it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll talk to Polly later, but I'll take it for now.
okay. It's a ruby spell gem. I'm removing it from my inventory.
Okay. So, any questions?
So many, Val. So many.
How did we do on
I-
your scenarios? Your 11 different scenarios.
Number 6.
I do have something I want to ask you, but I'm gonna wait till everyone else leaves.
Okay.
Can I be nosy and stay?
Well, now I want to hear
sure.
too.
I'll let Bryn hear because it probably really help her if it works. I doubt it will, but
Okay, we'll get to that. Anybody
I
else?
guess I gotta leave then, guys. So have a good night, guys.
Not everybody else.
All right.
Right.
Night, y'all.
Feel free to message me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
I'm so glad
So
being
I'm like-
nosy paid off.
I'm like 90% sure this is gonna be a no. But the idea occurred to me when the Asmars were fighting, assumably Barnabas. So I figured I'd ask. That idea for Saren that I brought up to you about having tattoos infused with spells.
Mhm.
Would you have to be a spellcaster for that to work, or is the tattoo just straight up infused with the spell?
It's different. So, like with the blood magic stuff that we were talking about, that's completely different. And Hawkus could have portrayed this. What they do is that they take either victim's blood or blood of a fellow compatriot who's willing to give it to them, and they basically ink the blood into their skin. And that gives them basically an extra font of power to do certain spells. And that's ritually done into insignias and symbols and sigils and such to do certain tasks. As far as the tattoo stuff goes, before you even brought it up, I had already created a Valkyrie wizard that does tattoo magic. Which is why I said no to yours, because I was like, it already exists. But the way that the Valkyrie, it's called a skin wizard. And what they're able to do is, instead of a spell book, they use their skin as their spell book. And they can do the same thing that a wizard does by transcribing spells. And they can swap out what spells that they have prepared by basically taking the ink from their skin with a special pen and putting it into a book, and then taking another spell from that book and putting it into their skin. So they don't need a spell book to do this, because they can use any sort of paper. but their prepared spells stay on their skin. So it already exists, but it's a Valkyrie thing. And yes,
Well,
it
then
has to be a wizard.
And I wouldn't be able to get like magical tattoos like that, right? I think is what we said.
Well,
before, right?
magical tattoos are a different thing.
Different things. Okay, got you.
Yeah. You could technically get them, but they would have to be specific for you because you already have magical tattoos technically. So, like the whole tattoos to your eyes thing, that is a magical tattoo that you just can't see.
That's the blind sight, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the blind side.
Yeah, you were doing that fight scene. I kept thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool if our fighters could just cast shield once a day?
Yeah. In the other group, there's a skin wizard. Their wizard is a skin wizard, and skin wizards use Constitution as their spellcasting modifier. So they're meant to be beefy. And they usually handle two-handed weapons.
Help me become a skin wizard, Bryn.
Unfortunately, she would
I
not
don't
be
think.
able
Yeah.
to.
I don't think that
Because
Bryn would even know about that, would she?
Yeah, you know about it. It's part of your history.
Oh, okay.
But no one that survived with your group in Lingvi is one, so no one could teach it forward. So that's why you weren't able to be one.
I don't think I would have picked it.
It's the order of the skin. It's just easier to say skin wizard.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Emmerich, professional skin wizard.
Alrighty, guys. Any other questions?
Would we have been told how long Barnabas had been in jail? I don't remember if that was brought up.
You got a rough idea. It was. He's been Valek was Barnabas for a long time, but not. I think he said about 3 years. Because that was the whole Kaporn and Rashi being like, "Are you our dad?" Like, and Nori being like, "Oh God, no!" But then he'd be like, "No, I've only been Barnabas for a few years."
So he's probably been in jail for about that long, or in
Yeah.
custody.
Yeah.
Custody.
Whether
Okay.
or not he was at that specific location the entire time,
For sure.
is one thing. But yeah, ever since Valek took over, he might have been in custody a little bit longer, but at least to keep up appearances, at least that long, at least 3 years. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not at the moment.
All right. Well, if you do have anything, feel free to message and I'll get back. You guys have a good night.
Night.
Have a good night.
Thank you for those who stayed with us. You guys have a great night. Have a great week. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.